started this whole argument.
These people are just fucking trolling, man. That's all this is.
No, I know the person. I mean, I think they're really that stupid. Like, you know? Because, like, you know, the truth is, for some it is a choice, and for some it's really not.
Maybe that's probably the case. That is. Or, like, some people, it's just they're gay sexually, but, like, not romantically.
Yeah.
Or they don't like they just like fooling around with dudes because it's like a ooh thing. Or but it's not like I'm gay and I love other men. You know,
you mean like the Greeks?
Yeah, like the Greeks. Like they're like, yeah, it's just easier to fool around with the guys after work instead of like having to deal with my wife. But like, I still like love my wife, you know. But like, it's nice to fucking stick your penises in the guy's ear every once in a while. You know, me and the boys. You know?
All right, so welcome everybody to another exciting installment of the Terrorisk podcast. Where got Brendan here with me today.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, it's been a little while. It's the first episode you and I are doing, Brendan, I think, since the new year.
And I like the new light where you can see us.
Yeah. That's been a new feature since last couple of episodes, which is nice. It's cool. Let's talk about what's new with you. Oh, did you see the chef meme I sent you?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh my god! You know, I think that was from that was referencing the show The Bear.
Yeah, The Bear is pretty accurate. I'm just prep cook dishwasher. It's 6 days a fucking week. I'm getting a little bit, I'm getting that impatient kind of kitchen worker mentality a lot of the time. But it's just, that's just what kind of happens.
Honestly, dude, I like every time I think about a job, like I'm like, I look at it now. It's like I could probably handle any job as long as I could practice martial arts on the side. You know, if I realize like as long as I have training in my life, I could shuck oysters all day. I could fucking park cars if I had to. I could fucking do any shitty job because it's really the training that lets me burn stress. So I'm never pissed off really after a class. I'm always like, oh, okay, I feel a lot better. And B, I don't know. It's like nothing seems like a waste of time when I have martial arts in my life. You know, like I could not make music. I could not do the podcast. I could fucking not do shit, like not go out or anything. But as long as I'm still training, I feel good, which is stupid, I guess, in a way, because it's not like martial arts training will make me rich or anything, which is kind of sad. I wish it did, but it won't. I was saying though, if things got so bad in New York City, I could like be like a street mercenary bodyguard. It's like, yeah, I'll protect you in the subway with my katana. Just pay me like $2,000 a week. I'll be there. Could you imagine me like patrolling the subways with a fucking samurai sword?
I think people will try to pick fights with you.
What?
I think it's too flashy. People try to pick fights with you. Fuck, I'm tired. I've been tired nonstop lately.
Yeah?
It's just too much having the one day. Just one day off. And it's right back at that. One day is not enough. I also don't think 40 hours
You want to light this little joint?
Yeah, sure.
Mellow out a bit. You want me to light it?
I'm gonna take some insulin.
Is your insulin in your bag?
No, it's in my back pocket.
Nice. Because like every time we do these, you always like get up to get your insulin. We get to just do this little tight little insulin sesh. Bro, pass the insulin, bro. Bro, save me the wash. What the fuck are you gonna do with the wash? He's got his insulin going.
Oh wait, I took some before it started. I should wait.
Yeah, you don't wanna OD on the
I'm
insulin.
gonna take one more. You put a lot of sugar in that coffee. So it'll taste. A little sip of insulin.
Little spurt, little squirty squirt.
No squirt here.
Okay, so I bet everyone in your family loves that Luigi kid, the one who shot that fucking health insurance CEO.
No, we don't really. James talks about it, my brother, but no, we don't really talk about that much. I don't. What's been happening with that?
No, he's probably getting prosecuted.
See, if one I'm like talking to my brother. I'm like, he's just like, if one more person does it, it would make a difference. But right now it's just one isolated event. But if you have one more, then it's like a big deal.
What do they want? Wait, what does he mean though by the difference? Like, what happens after that difference? Is like suddenly people start killing CEOs left and right? Is that what he's saying?
Oh, maybe maybe they'll learn. Maybe they'll stop being such fucks and start like improving a little bit more. Maybe like not being such greedy fucks and not taking billions and billions and then not letting people get their treatments. Like literally, he got whacked before because the guy's mom fucking died and his back's fucking like whatever's fucking it wouldn't get covered. And that is a thing. You have to fight insurance company. It's a corrupt institution, and it's actually the reason why things are as pricey as they are. Things don't actually cost. An IV bag does not cost $200 from the manufacturers. It's a price gauging thing that they raise the prices on everything. So it's if that was the case, you barely have to pay anything.
I agree with that whole sentiment. It's just I think like,
and what they're doing is you're paying them for just in case money, right? So I'm giving you money. You're taking money and getting paid for just in case something happens. And when that does happen, then you're fighting me on getting that money back. That's a corrupt institution. So your whole job is trying to not give people their money back. That is the profit there. That's how you make a profit. That's not a real fucking job. That shouldn't exist. So yes, they should probably all
you're talking
die.
about claims denial.
Yeah, but the whole, as an institution, health insurance is corrupt.
Obviously,
it shouldn't exist.
Probably, because how are you gonna assess that properly or accurately? In any case, it's impossible. Everyone's conditions are very different and nuanced, so it's like you can't. Car accidents are one thing, like if you assess a car accident, it's like, yeah, you could see that, but people's bodies are like always changing and shit, and a lot of the times we don't even know enough about the diseases to create any kind of like standard universal treatment for anything. So yeah, it is. The
very job is to try to get money out of people and try your hardest to not have to give it to them, give them the money you promised them when they actually need it. And that's how you make money. That's not a real job. That's just a con in an already.
Let me ask you something.
Institution.
Have you ever signed up for any insurance at all ever in your life?
I have health insurance.
You have health insurance?
Through the state, yeah.
Did you you got it through the state?
Mm-hmm. New York State, yeah.
All right. Because like when it's did you have to sign a contract or anything for it?
No, I just
Okay, so like usually like when it comes to private insurance, whether it's healthcare or car insurance or something, you choose a package. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be able to say
through
like
your union, you choose a package. I've done that.
Like
before.
if I pay X amount, then I should be covered for this, this, and this. If I pay a little less than that, then I get covered for a little less because they're different packages. That's another thing. It's like
but they can try to loophole stipulations. Like,
no, well, it's not just that. It's like it's also. It's a consumer product ultimately. If you're selling insurance packages, you're selling a product.
Yeah, but people's lives shouldn't be considered a product. And then when you're actually your decisions are killing people, and
no, that's not. Look, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the companies are right. I'm just saying like it's either an issue with transparency, like people are just like they think they're getting a kind of coverage that they're not actually getting, or it is some kind of negligence. It's like you're thinking you're investing into
it's a scam. It's a con. The whole business of it is a scam. We tell people we're going to hold on to money for them. Like this, it wasn't always around. Before that, you went to the doctor, you paid for it, and then you got your shit done and taken care of. And then randomly this company comes out. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get people to give us money every month, and we're just gonna hold on to it. It's like, what are we giving them in return for this? What services are we providing? We hold on to their money, and if they ever get sick, when they go to the doctor, we say, hey, remember that money you gave us? You needed it for this? We're going to give you some of it. So you don't have to worry about it in times of emergency because you've been giving us a little bit every month. So how are we making money if we have to give it back whenever they get sick? They're going to eventually get sick. Okay, here's the thing. When they actually get sick, we try to make up some bullshit and say, well, yeah, but we didn't actually say it like that. You weren't really sick enough, so we're not going to pay for it. But you're kind of a little bit too old and you're close to dying, so we're not going to give you any of the money you've been giving us every month back. Sorry, you might just die, or you have to pay thousands of your money that you've been giving us instead.
Well, the reason
it's a scam. It's a whole
yo.
But how do we get them to pay this much? We trick the companies that make these products and we tell them to
Yes,
charge
Brendan,
them
everyone
more.
knows. Everyone knows how this discrepancy works. What I'm asking is, like, what do you think enabled it? It's not just a guy who
Some
came.
dumb fucks believe in them and
No,
let them
no,
thrive.
that's not what caused it. What caused it really is, for better or worse, the privatization of healthcare. You know, some countries, healthcare isn't a fucking business. Healthcare is just a part of the social fabric
we
of the
need it.
infrastructure. Yeah. So for some countries, it's like if you're a citizen of our country, I mean, we may not be able to give you like cutting edge technology from America, but you'll be taken care of. You know, just by being a citizen in America.
We do not have the cutting edge technology we say we do, though. That's the thing.
You do, if you're a billionaire or a millionaire, you do.
Yeah,
So it's like,
but that's anywhere. Anywhere, if you have the means to get it, you can get it.
that's not true. Anywhere else, it's like if they want the real good shit, they'll come to America. You know, unless there's some specialists in Sweden or China.
Yeah,
or
I'm
some
saying
shit.
there's better places than here, man.
Well, I think there's only better places for like very specific things. For example, if you have like some rare brain parasite, there's only going to be a handful of fucking surgeons who could handle that in the world. You know, like, so there's that issue. Now, like, the question is like because the problem is like you can't just make healthcare public in America overnight. I mean, I wish they would. That'll be sick, but it's never going to happen anytime soon unless. I mean, I don't think 1 dead, 2 dead, 5 dead CEOs is going to deprivatize healthcare. It's not going to happen. And as long as healthcare is privatized, there's going to be some fucked up insurance scams and all this shit. You know, it's just the way. And that's why I ask you. It's like you can't just look at insurance as the problem. No, it's part of a much wider problem, which is.
But I think any act of insurrection against the elite and against like the higher class is a good thing, especially when
No, see, that's what I don't like. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like if you actually do it, that's one thing. But if you're one of those people who are advocating for like the death of other people and you're not willing to do it yourself, that's cowardly. I would never want to get my fucking like hands bloody with someone else's blood out of like anger or spite. I don't care what they did. I would never want to really kill someone unless I had to, you know, like, so for you to go out there and be like,
is it incriminating to say I would? Like, I don't know, like.
no, it just means you have a vengeful soul. You have vengeance in you. You know.
Well, also, I'd say if I had a situation, especially if I felt like I had nothing to lose, and something bad was gonna happen to me regardless, that's a cocktail for like something. You have somebody who's fucked medically, right, and something happened to him. He's hurt. Say he's not gonna get well anyway. You might as well take this guy out.
Okay, so
you know, like if you give somebody.
So you're saying it's better. You're saying it's better for him to live in suffering in prison.
You're right, that's gonna suck. Yeah, but
No
I
shit.
think like
He's a young guy. He didn't fucking think things through. I think he's a fucking idiot. So I don't advocate his actions. I think if any one of my friends did that, I'll be like, congratulations, you ruined your fucking life. I lose a friend and you get to
it would be
fucking...
really cool if we had like a Bastille Day or whatever.
A what?
No, like, you know, like, and that's what started the French Revolution. It was the day they just like went up and they're like, let them out of fucking prison. They're like, no, we're like, okay, fuck you. And they just like tore down the prison, demolished it, like with cannons and shit, and just broke in there, beat the shit out of everyone, and just broke all the prisoners out. And just to get one guy. Like, it was one guy. And they just went in there like, you know what? Fuck it. You're not letting him go. And they just broke through the prison and just let everyone out. And then afterwards, they just started like throughout the coming years, they just started to like dragging people out of their mansions and shit and like chopping their heads off in the street in public. Like, okay, we're going to keep doing this until we fucking get democracy. And I guess it worked.
I don't see.
They just started killing everyone.
I'm sorry. I completely lost faith in any kind of political revolution, social
Violent
upheaval.
revolution.
I lost faith in violent revolution. I think the only revolution that's going to help our species is a mass spiritual awakening.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't look like that. Maybe it starts off messy. I don't know, but like it is that there is too many. It's just gonna get more and more uncomfortable for the middle class, or soon middle class is gonna get phased out. There barely is, you know. It's more for the lower class and higher class at this point. There's not as much of a middle
Don't
class.
think of it in terms of that.
Middle class is going away.
Think of it in terms of how many people believe in souls. How many people are walking around on this earth actually? Because there's plenty of evil people that believe in souls. They sell their souls all the time. There's plenty of good people that believe in souls. But there's plenty of good people that don't believe in souls. And there's plenty of bad people that don't believe in souls. But the truth is, when you do identify your soul, you are different. You are fundamentally different than the people who don't. You have an extra dimension to you. You know, because like there's people who don't believe in a soul and they live just as their thoughts, just as their their physical sensations, just as maybe some people
People that say they believe in a soul also do the same shit a lot of the time, though.
no
Most of the time,
no
anyway.
kidding, but that there is a fundamental difference if you consciously acknowledge your soul. Whether or not you take care of it, that's different. Whether or not you do good things by it, that's different.
Or you
But
have the cop out Christianity. So as long as I believe Jesus Christ died for me, I'm just gonna go to
no,
heaven.
because that's religion. There's plenty of religion people who claim a religion, but that don't actually believe in
yeah,
a
they
soul.
don't fucking do it.
They don't believe in it. They don't actually, like, plenty of Jews don't actually believe in their religion. They
Well,
just
it's like believing that there's a gun to your head, but you're not like actually like surrendering. Like
No,
you
no,
don't really
no.
believe you're in danger.
No. It's some people who are like, I don't. There's a gun to their head, but they don't really think there's a gun to their head. They don't see it.
Yeah.
But they'll say
like believing you're going to hell and there's a heaven and hell, that God exists, Jesus exists, but you're still like hurting the poor people and shit. And you're just saying, well, as long as I believe Jesus Christ, that means you didn't read the whole Bible.
Well, first of all, if you did
Jesus
believe,
never said, as long as you believe I exist,
yeah.
you're going to heaven. He said, dude, you gotta straighten the fuck out. You're not getting in there unless you do some good. And
Okay. And I'm saying, if you do believe in a soul, then how often, like, how likely are you going to do like bad shit?
A lot.
What?
Anyway, you're gonna have to make up for it a lot of the time. Actually, like,
No, usually you do bad shit because you don't believe in a soul.
well, yeah, but I'm saying you're gonna have to make up for your mistakes.
I'm just saying, yeah, well,
you're still gonna sin.
I'm just saying, if you do believe in a, like, people don't usually harm people if they actually fully, sincerely believe that we have souls. Because if you have a soul, then you're going to like understand karma. You're going to have a better grasp on like the idea we're all connected then. If you have a soul, that's what we're all connected by. That's the root of our empathy. You think our empathy like starts with our fucking bodies and our minds? No. That shit is shit is temporal.
Do you know the show Midnight Gospel?
Yeah.
What's his name? Duncan Trussell? Whatever his name is. I saw him on a podcast the other day, and he was somebody was like, what do you think would happen if, you gave like magic mushrooms to like Trump and the president, global elites and billionaires? Like he's like, I don't think that it would change what they do. I don't think it would make psychopaths less psychopaths, actually. Like having that revelation still wouldn't make it that they wouldn't still like kill half the population or like.
Okay, but then what if, like, again, you're right, because like but I don't know. I would never like say, because I've personally done psychedelics many times in my life. Never has it once ever given me a spiritual experience. You know what did give me a spiritual experience? Solitude, martial arts practice, radical changes in my diet. Like those three things, literally. It was never drugs. And I hate it when people fucking like try to like, I feel like when it comes to spirituality and metaphysics, so many people put so much stake in psychedelics, which I agree plays a part. I think psychedelics primes you. I think it like conditions you in the right way. So later down the line, you actually have a spontaneous, true spiritual experience, which shouldn't need psychedelics present, like at the time of happening. I don't think it does. And I think that's really it. It's like, it's not really about it's not really about the drugs. Now, if you could take Donald Trump and these guys and like convince them that they have a soul and that we all have souls.
Yeah, but they're Christian.
That doesn't, we just said, like, just because you're identified as a religion doesn't mean you actually believe in a soul. And who knows, maybe Donald Trump is way more complicated than we give him credit for.
I think a lot of people are just stupid and they don't realize, like, the ignorance is the evil. It's not that they're actually malicious. A lot of people are just ignorant to what they do and how they treat. They're not
well, I'm saying
aware enough.
But then how can you solve that ignorance if you don't believe in a soul? What's the point?
I don't think there is. I think if you're ignorant minded, you're just gonna not realize what you're doing.
But if you take that ignorant minded person and you convince them that we have souls, well, that's going to change.
Like give them like you're talking about like Scrooge. Like you're like have that happen. A complete spiritual revelation overnight to where all of a sudden they're Mr. Scrooge, and the next day they wake up and they want to give to everybody.
It's not that specific.
And realize they have the soul.
No. Listen, let me
Marley
finish.
came to him and said, "Listen, this is what's gonna happen."
I know we know the story. I'm just saying it's not that specific, right? There's some people who just like almost fall off their fucking like motorcycle, almost die and have a spontaneous spiritual experience. There's people that like read them.
Hold on. Hello. Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I'm doing a podcast.
He's on the phone. I think it's his mom.
Oh, okay. Well, that's scary and ominous. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'd be scared too. I understand why you called me. Well, I'm on air, so.
Scary stuff is happening.
But I'm sorry, yeah, no, I wasn't honestly like in a dark corner somewhere on the phone, like I need help, and then like you caught me like hours later, and it's like, oh, oops, Brendan's dead somewhere in a ditch. You didn't get it as an emergency SOS. No, I did. That was with the prosciutto.
Maybe it's not his mom. Maybe it's someone else. Oh, it is his mom.
Oh, it did. I'm doing a podcast right now. I'm not at work. All right, I love you. I'll see you tomorrow if anything. I love you. First of all, I was at work, and I guess I pocket dialed my brother, and he like went to my mom, was like, and said like, yeah, it sounded like he was saying like, I need help, and then they didn't see me, and I guess but it was really pocket dialed, and it was me talking to somebody at work.
That's cute. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, back to spontaneous spiritual awakening. I'm not saying it's not just the Scrooge situation. It's also, it could be random. It could be completely random. There's cases where women have literally masturbated themselves to like non-duality. Like like this shit really does happen like that. Like where you just completely let go of your ego, or maybe it's ripped away from you. Maybe, and for some dudes it happens like
Carl Jung calls that a psychic change.
Yeah, so I think that is what's required. And it's not always drugs. It's not always going to be through drugs. Maybe it can be sometimes. I just think like you can't lean on that because it could be anything. And it could be something that you strive towards for years and never reach. And it could be something that like some random asshole just accidentally, it's like, oh, wait a minute. And he just like gets it, like
I've had moments of Satori just randomly. I remember one time I don't know why, it was weird. And it just bounced right back to regular again. I was just sitting there. Lately, nothing sober. I was sitting there on top of the island in the kitchen. Out of nowhere, it was just this moment of everything was just completely one perfect piece, and it was like just mindless peace, and then just went back to being Brendan again.
For me, it was like
short, like boom.
For me, it just changed my whole. I don't get like psychedelic experiences out of any of it. It was just a whole massive shift in like basically perspective, where I went from like I didn't understand the concept of a soul until like I went through this line of dialogue. I actually wrote it down, and it's basically said, I'm going to trust life. I'm going to trust life as an intelligent force that knows exactly what it's doing to all of us. Life is not happening to me. I'm not happening to life. Life is not happening for me. Life is not happening through me. I am life. I am a focal point of the universe becoming aware of itself. And like once I like really cycled those words through my head, it was like dominoes falling. You know what I'm saying? It's like I was like, wait a minute, what is life? Oh shit, that's like an intelligent force. That's God. And then it's like, and then I talk about like, like beneath like my body and my mind, like what is that? What's the real me? Oh, it's my soul. And it's like, that's what changed everything. I didn't believe in a soul. Like I didn't realize even like what it meant to live as a souled being. Because I didn't realize like there's a fundamental difference in life between living as like an atheist, as a person who only believes in materialism, they just believe they're just this massive cells, and a person who believes they have a soul that is connected to a higher divine source. And like it's a fundamentally different life. It's because you're seeing everything extremely differently. And when you go from that to that, it could become like extremely disruptive. What if you're a stockbroker and you just get used to fucking people over to make like that, and that's just your life, and you're having a great time, and then out of nowhere, boom, you have a soul.
No,
like,
for me, it was actually more. It was. I guess it was falling in love the first time, and then psychedelics. Before that, I was completely nihilist.
Yeah, same because before that I didn't I didn't trust life.
Even if I believe, even now, I realize like even believing in your soul, like it makes me want to not be nihilist, but still my ego still very much. I've had a lot of nihilistic thoughts because I even think about it. It's like I'm very anti-life a lot of the times. Like I'm very like fuck this whole place. Like but that's coming from a place of thinking I have a soul. Because I'm like, I'd rather leave this place. Like, I think of it almost like I'm in a vehicle. I'm in a place where I don't want to be, and I can leave.
Yeah, but this is...
Like, that's why I don't take suicide as seriously as a lot of people do.
I think this is where we diverge, because I'm like... I take things to their, like implications. Like, if we have a soul, then this implies there's a God, right? And that's the source of souls. Ergo... every single person to me is the same soul living out different lifetimes in different bodies. I don't care if you're like a saint. I don't care if you're like a pedophile. Like I hate to say it, but yeah, I share a soul with both of these people, you know, because like that's the only way it makes sense. It doesn't make any sense when it's like, oh, your soul is special and unique as our bodies. No, that doesn't make any fucking sense. You know what? You think our souls come from different sources? No, if our souls come from God, the same source, the Godhead, the God soul, our souls are just fragments of it. Our souls are just water
But
droplets.
just being manifest in a body seems like a burden to me. Like I'd rather just not have to manifest.
Well,
like
guess what? Guess what? Luckily for you, you know what happens when you fucking die? You go back to the source, and apparently it feels really good. And that, like, whether you lived a great life, whether you lived a horrible life, you're gonna go back to that nice, fuzzy, warm place. However, apparently on the road to there, you go through the tunnel, and in that tunnel, you see everything you did. And that's the shitty part. And that's another thing. Like, you know, like people talk about like dying alone. I'm like, listen, we all die alone. Now here's what I'm saying. Because keep in mind the logic that I just provided, which is everyone's the same soul living out different lifetimes in different bodies. So let's say you die, right? And let's say you lived a bad life, a miserable life. All of a sudden, all the illusions of separation melt away, and you realize you are
did that.
No,
yourself.
You exactly. It would no. You can't blame anyone. There's no one there at the end to blame. No one else. There's no mom, no dad, no enemy, no boss, no
You
bullies.
killed 7 million of yourselves in a gas chamber.
What the fuck?
Holy
is
shit, dude!
Yeah.
That sucks.
And then there's some people that, for example, there's some people that I love.
What do you do? Your testicles? Holy
Dude,
fuck!
How about this? There's some people that are like, I love my family. I love my family so much. My family is everything. My family is blah 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 blah. I'm just so worried about my family every single moment. And then they die and they realize, oh, my family members were just different versions of me. Well, now I feel retarded. You know, why did I worry so much about different versions of me? They were all destined for their own path anyway.
I like the way Ramdas puts it. It's like you're just on this trip, and there's this trip, and I like to think about this, and I'm like, I could take that trip right now, and I don't feel like it. Like especially like I'll be like dealing with something, and like, oh man, I'm about to do this. I do not want to go on that trip. I don't want to go on this. I want to like burn something down trip. Like I don't like right now. I'm having this kind of trip right now, and I write down and I try to think of everything as like just like I'm on this trip. I'm on this little trip, you know. And that's all Ram Dass says a lot of the times. You're just going through another trip. But and he's like, and some people get really high on that whole, you know, some people get really religious and they don't realize they're just going on another trip. And it's just another trip. And he's like, everything, right, yeah, every process, everything you believe in is just another trip to source. And whatever you can name isn't real. You start believing in God. Now maybe that's better than the trip you had before, but that's still just another trip. That God got to go too.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Everything got to go eventually.
But that's like,
and he's like, it's like you're just going on the trip. You might be having a beautiful dream. It might be a beautiful spiritual trip, but you're just still on a trip.
Great, yeah, it's all a trip.
It's a reduction, you know.
It's all a trip. I get it. But back to what we're saying about like how every soul is like the same soul basically ultimately, because you're right, it's all a little trip. Individuality is just a little trip. Separation is just a little trip.
Why you get so long? You have to do
no I'm just saying, like, yeah, that's what we're covered, and this has to, I'm just looping it back.
Attitude.
No, I'm just saying it's redundant, you know, like the way I'm saying it is redundant. The way I'm saying it is redundant, not the way you were saying it. The way I was saying it was redundant. But like the fucking, once you get over that, it's like it's hard to be hateful after that. You know, maybe that was your problem, because you still see as a soul being degrees of separation. When I look at the soul, the separation melts away. I just see different versions of myself, even amongst the CEO for a health insurance company, even amongst the homeless guy, even amongst my best friend, my worst enemy. They're just different versions of me. My own family members, different versions of me. And this is what makes like this. If people adopt this perspective, they're going to have to change how they think about life, like love and romance. Because the whole thing about romance, as we know it now, this weird, fucked up, broken version, modern version of romance, the only way for it to work is if you forget enough of your true self to see the individuals and appreciate the differences and all that shit. Yeah, it's nice. And we all know that. You know, the Disney movies taught us that since we were fucking babies. So yeah, we get how that works. We get how the modern notions of love and romance work. And it only works is if you're like pretty much unenlightened, you know, if you're pretty much like not, if you forget enough of, again, your true self. So it's like, I don't know, that has to change, you know, like we take that for granted. You know, this is, I see this roadblock with like, when we talk about a global spiritual awakening, one of the things that's going to get in the way of that is going to be how we view love and romance between
but it's
other.
Nice to go on that trip.
But again, it's just a trip.
Yeah, but still, you do it and still have that trip, and then it just doesn't kill you when it stops. When your trip ends, you're like, like
Yeah,
first,
okay.
imagine if you took a bunch of you didn't know you're gonna have a come down.
Brendan, what did you just do? Like you literally were just able to accurately predict the end of that trip. See, back like 100 years ago, you go on this type of trip, and you won't be able to easily like fucking, like discern or predict like what the ending. Now we live in an era where it's like if we did go on that trip, we would know exactly what would fucking happen. Honestly, if you got into a relationship, more or less, like you would know how it would end as it starts. We've become more intuitive as a species, which is why I think a global spiritual awakening is on the menu.
Well, people are still tripping hard because we're going through, especially with politics and all that shit. People are just, everyone's on a different trip. So I don't think.
Yeah, but no. We may all have been on. That's what I'm saying. It's like we were all on different trips for so long, collectively and individually, that the trip. He even said so himself. It's all just going different routes to go back to God, right? Just a little trip, and eventually you go back to God.
You have soul groups. Maybe it's
Oversoul
okay.
groups.
What?
Oversoul. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's fractalization.
You have the groups that are like conservative. You have the super leftist groups. You have the trans. You have this group, right? And you have the groups that are like if I look at your phone, you're gonna be getting a lot of the same YouTube videos as me, a lot of the same things, and we're gonna be because we're both on this.
I agree
people
with
are
you.
going to awaken trip. Same as if I talked to Sabina's right now and had a conversation, we'd have similar conversations.
I'd agree with you.
And now. That's probably just because I'm in this soul group,
Yeah.
and we're all like, I think the world's awakening.
Yeah.
You know what? The people that are like, let's go Trump, let's go Biden, are not on this trip with us. And they're not going like, I think the world's about to spiritually awaken. They're like, Jesus Christ died and we need to kill the trend. And the people, they're like, so like.
No, but you got to understand. You know what, Will?
We're just on this
Yeah,
trip.
but the thing is, what's going to kind of like align the trips more is as things get worse and worse and worse for the deluded people, as their lives are getting worse in their delusions. My life, honestly, my life is fucking sick. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of things I don't have. Like I don't have a girlfriend, I don't have a wife, I don't have kids. I mean, I'm not saying
a
those
lot
things
of people would say that's good.
Exactly, it's not good or bad, but I'm
That's not
saying
good or bad,
I'm
yeah.
not saying my life is good right now, but that's because I consciously keep it simple. Like, let me reiterate, I'm not bragging about a good life because I have this, I have that. No, my life is good because I'm needing less. That's the key. Now, like, I'm not saying this is ideal. Ideally, we would all have a lot, and then we could all be happy by having a lot. Abundance, great. What I'm doing is I'm doing a hack, basically. I'm being satisfied with, like, I'm basically hacking scarcity to become abundance. That's different.
For me, I guess I get frustrated because I do keep it like right now. My greatest part of my day is because I get to come home and play the new Zelda game I bought, and it's great.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the shit. But what I had to go through sometimes makes it like, is this fucking worth it? What I had to do all day today and stuff. Like I get home, then I'm tired and I can't even enjoy the thing because I'm so beat afterwards. Like a lot of labor jobs, they drain you so much to where you don't have any passion anymore because you get home and you're like, I can't. Like just like today, this was hard for me to come because like my mind is like struggling with me. I should go. I haven't done it in a while with him. I should really go. And he's been asking me. I've been avoiding. But then the other side of me is like, Brendan, if you don't go home now, and you do this rest, you're gonna feel even worse tomorrow. And I know you're tired and frustrated, and your mind's like. So I'm like, it's hard. Like there's like no balance, kind of a lot of.
It's
times.
actually funny. All right, so let's frame.
I don't want this.
Let's frame this whole conversation as if we're talking about energy, like willpower, as if it's like a real resource, like the amount of money you have in your pocket.
They take it all. They take it all.
Yeah. So I'm saying like this is why I get so passionate about like, when we have these kinds of talks. I feel like it's a transference of energy. I feel like because I have a lot of fucking energy. Like just I know I do because that's literally what everything I've been doing is culminating to in the most logical way. When I say things like changing my diet, exercise, semen retention, martial arts training, all this shit. That basically just comes to more energy. You basically just have more energy. And that's important because no matter how much time or money you have, without energy, you can't do anything with it. Like we just talked about, you have resources, but without energy, you realize, oh shit. And the problem, one big problem with modern society is that we don't value energy. Like we value like electricity to power our homes, but we don't know how.
It's also time. And the time and energy. So it's like work takes time from you, and then the energy is sapping your energy while it's taking time. It's like draining your health bar and your stamina bar at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and when you get home, you have this little bit left. It's like I could spend this much, but I'm gonna have this much left over for the next boss fight I got tomorrow. You know, it's like I'm thinking about it in terms of video games. So I play a lot of games,
let me ask
but
you
it
something.
works.
Do you believe that you could? Well, I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask what you think first. Do you think it's possible to increase your, you know how like you have your health bar, but you know how you pick up a rare item that increases your max health?
In my game now, if I get to do 4 of those shrines, I can exchange them from 1 extra heart container or 1 extra stamina bar.
Yeah. So I'm saying, do you think that's possible in real life too? To increase your max vitality? And I know the answer to this, but I want to see what you say.
Yes and no, because in the real world we have aging and atrophy.
Okay, you're right. But however, let's say this:
Link and Zelda, for what it's pretty much doesn't fucking age in the first place. So he gets stronger.
Look, stop. Enough with the.
We're not Goku in the
stop
world.
with the video. I'm saying, yeah, you're right. It is.
We
real
get
life.
weaker
Yes.
after 30. You get weaker.
Yes, but allow me to introduce another dimension. Right, that may be true, but let me remind you: every single thing you do takes energy. Whether it's getting up to take a piss, whether it's playing video games for an hour, whether it's going to work, whether it's taking care of your family, everything will deplete that throughout the day until you go to sleep, and then it resets. So what I'm saying is, think of all the things you do in your life that you don't actually have to do, like jerking off or fucking eating something or staying up late or going or going out or like going to buy weed.
Yeah, but see, the way I look at it, I don't even need to exist.
But I'm saying, yeah, but however, there are certain things you like to do. Now imagine this: if you did less of the things you didn't need to do, you would have that much more. And on top of that, you increase your threshold when you stretch up a surplus. That's how this isn't my concept. This is like Chinese holistic wellness constitution treatments. You know, this is when they like fuck with the chi inside of a person, and it's not like conventional medicine because chi isn't like your blood. You can't like observe it flowing through your body, but metaphysical treatments would suggest it is very real.
Well, look, I did this today, right? And to use some of my time and energy. So that means when I go play my game now, I'm probably not going to do any of the main quests. I'm probably going to do a side quest or 2 that won't take much time and energy. And then because that's why I have to do it now. I have to spend less on that now.
No, listen,
you know, because I'm going to do like a side quest.
The way you got to look at it is if you're always going to be spending your chi throughout your day and you can't not spend chi, what you got to think of is how much of my chi is being spent on something that someone else wants and how much of my chi is being spent on something that I want. And when you really do the math, for like the average person will find, and they're honest about it, they'll be really upset. Like, I think the average person will like look at their chi chart. It's like where their chi is going.
Yeah, we don't have work-life balance. That's what they call it in a lot of countries now.
Yeah, and
we do not have. So it's like when I hear about like we're not even as bad as like Japan is. In Japan, they're stupid about it. They're like fucking 70 hours. It's like, dude.
No, but that may be true. But however,
you're passing out at work, they're like, great, he's doing a great job.
But they also do a lot of things that up their chi. Like they exercise every morning. They're good to their family members. They practice gratitude. They pray to shrines. These things increase your chi. They do. You know, like for example, when you do AA, like every time you don't drink, you're increasing your chi because when you drink, that drains you.
And also, actually, AA does that. They say, we are not, we will, when we find that we do these things and we place life on a God consciousness plane and then transfer all that, say we just do the work and leave the outcome to God and we just trust in God and He's our new employer, we find that our energy, we have a lot more energy throughout the day because we're not spending energy recklessly on getting angry and getting frustrated by fighting things all the time. So it's like by not getting frustrated and trying to control everything around me all the time, that they say we have much more energy that's freed up. And that is an AA thing too.
It's true because everything is energy. Yeah. Everything is fucking energy. And also when you don't like, I don't know, when you.
But that's why they say get like resentments is the number. Like they say it drains so much of your energy. It causes people to relapse because of it. Because it takes so much energy to stay upset about something.
Yeah, it really does.
And I do it all the time. And they say we are actually addicted to it. We get this strange sense of perverted self-satisfaction. It's a false sense of pride that I'm better than this person. They hurt me.
Dude, this is all fucked up to say. I mean, it's not fucked up.
Righteous indignation.
I just want to say, like, I don't know this for a fact, but I have a strong intuitive sense that all of that shit, the anger problems and shit, is heavily tied to sexuality at the core, at its root, which is why I think for men, I can't speak for women, but for men, semen retention will fix a lot of your shit. I mean, if you're a fucking psychopath, you're a psychopath. If you have brain damage, you have brain damage, whatever. But if it's for generally like some kind of like personality disorder or some kind of like bad habit or something, like some social habits, if you just stop fucking whacking it, bro. Just all you bros out there, just stop fucking whacking it to porn. Give it like 30 days. Just go on a 30-day jacking cleanse and see what happens. You'll be very, very surprised with the results.
And now's the time for a sponsor. Have you heard about semen retention? You guys should really try it. Just for 30 days. 30 days and you get your money back if you're not satisfied with holding your cum in. Like, I don't know. It just sounds like you're really... Every episode you push the... I don't know if you do with everyone else, but every episode you push the semen retention thing. But I'm not saying...
I think you're uncomfortable with it because you're addicted to masturbation.
Maybe a little bit, yeah. I could probably not do it. But that's the beginning of addiction when you're like, I can stop whatever I want.
I'm telling you,
haven't tried yet.
This is your final frontier. I think if you fix this, you'll fix a lot of things.
It's like, yeah, I'm probably addicted to coffee too. I'm definitely addicted. I'm addicted to a lot of fucking things. Whatever's not gonna fucking completely demolish my life.
But guess what? Guess
now.
what? Your sexual energy is your most important energy. It's where all your creation. Even the Hindus say it. All the Gnostic traditions say it. The Kabbalah says
That's
it.
what Buddha got tempted with. The last three things was and he said the sex thing was the thing that almost stopped Buddha from becoming enlightened. He's like he got tempted by Mara from first thing was like wealth and power and riches beyond me. Like. And he was like, yeah. I'm not planning to date any of these women that I'm having promiscuous, like casual sex with. So then if I'm not going to marry them, why the fuck am I wasting my time when I don't need to? Like, why am I wasting my fucking, resources to go out on a nice dinner, to then go to a bar, then we spend time That's
in my
a lot
place.
of energy, yes. Holy shit. No.
And then I fucking drive them home and shit. Like, why am I doing that? I know I'm not going to jerk off.
Unless I actually wanted to go out to
Exactly.
the bar
So
and hang out.
So why am I doing that? And I'm like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait.
The only times I've done that is because I actually wanted to go to those places also, so it killed two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go get drunk. This girl also wants to. I'm not actually wasting energy I wouldn't have actually wasted.
Yeah.
But no, I would not go to a fancy restaurant because I don't do that.
Well,
myself.
I like to treat dates, but it's
I'll take them to because a date for me is like I want to see if I could chill with them because I want to see if I want to be with them. Oh. So if I'm going to take you somewhere that I like, and if you're not chill and you're not enjoying it with me, and I'm like, well, this isn't going to fucking work.
Honestly, I know,
this isn't going to work. You don't like doing this.
I know right away if
we're not going to get to enjoy time together, so what's the fucking point? That's what a date is, feeling each other out, right? So why would you go somewhere where you normally wouldn't like to be with somebody? Like, I would do something with somebody that I would do with you, right?
Wait, so you never had like a casual date that ended in sex?
Yes, but I mean, like, I didn't go somewhere and like set it up to where I went and did something I wouldn't normally like to do.
Like what?
Like if we went to eat somewhere I'd just like to go.
Like you wouldn't want to just go out to
like
dinner?
I don't go to fancy restaurants.
I mean, when I
wouldn't want to be with somebody who likes to
I don't
go
mean
to
fancy.
Okay.
I just mean like a nice, cute little Thai place or something.
Okay,
or
no, I'd like to do those things though. I like that shit.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. But even that, like if I'm not gonna date this girl, then I wouldn't I would. Now it's like the sex isn't even worth. Like that whole effort.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't do. I never understood doing a bunch of things for sex, just for sex. I've never done that ever. I've never.
I have.
No, I've never.
I mean, not just for sex, but like I've been on a date.
Like knowing I want to go. I want to spend a whole day with this person just to have sex once.
No. I mean, I've been on a date knowing that I'm not going to be with them for the long haul, but there is a chance of sex, and even if there wasn't a chance of sex, at least we had a nice day out. Like that's how I look at it. Like
if I did that and just have sex once, that means I thought maybe I'll like them and could be together.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've had that too, where it's like you start off casual and then you open yourself up to the possibility of.
No, but I
I
never think of I really need to just try to get. I've never had a motive to just do something to try to get laid. If I did something with anyone, it was because I thought maybe it would go somewhere else.
Oh, that's good for you. What are you, a fucking Boy Scout?
No, I'm not saying as a guy. I just it just seemed like so much effort to have sex once.
I got to be honest with you. Like, women want this all the time. Like
to have sex once with somebody.
Yeah, sometimes a lot of times.
I've done it's unsatisfying.
Dude, I know that a lot of women just sometimes want to get laid, just like guys. It happens.
Yeah,
if anything, women are more horny than guys.
I do, but I want to get laid with somebody I like.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't. You wouldn't want
like
to
a
sleep with
connection
someone.
with. I don't, not some random person. I have no. I'm not gonna. It's not gonna feel like sex.
Yeah. Okay. I get that. Yeah. You gotta have some like rudimentary connection with them.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But
Like
you can still,
even if it's like a really good friend, I ended up fucking. Yes, that's.
you can still have casual sex with a person you have a connection with. Though.
Yes, but I'm not setting up a whole date and doing something with to fuck a friend.
I don't know.
That
I think
we
I
were
think,
hanging
no,
out
no,
and we
no,
ended
no,
up
no.
getting
I
drunk
think
and
I think
fucking.
I think you now you just sound lazy and you're being reductive. I think casual sex.
I am lazy. Yes, I'm lazy.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I do. I'm. That's why I whack off. Yes, because I'm like, I could. If I really put the effort in, I could maybe have sex with that girl. Maybe
You just don't think you don't think it's worth
But
it.
I don't. I am not gonna have a relationship. I am not attracted. I don't even want to kiss him that badly. And but if I just jerk off later, I'm not gonna want to do any of those things that was gonna take me hours, maybe days of my life and time to do.
That's so terrible.
So
you know what
it's,
you sound
it's
like?
laziness. Yes.
You sound like the guy's like, I could go to college, but I could just stay home and drink a 40. Like it's all that.
Yes, I'm lazy. That's why. It's like I'm not like Aaron and so. Oh no, I'm not. It's kind of voluntary. It's halfway involuntary because I'm like I just wish it didn't take as much effort.
See, I'm willing to make that effort.
No, I'm not.
Because, for example,
So if you made it real easy for me and you're like, let's just go, want to go to my house, I'll like smoke you out and we'll like fuck a little bit, I'll do that.
no, but also,
But if I have to like, and do something just to have sex with you, I will go out of my way if I like you and I'm like, I want to be with this person.
but that's so whack because like
But if I'm romantically like, oh, I like this girl,
no,
I will go out of my way
like,
for a lot of
that's
things.
so immature though, because then it's like you're not willing to just appreciate something.
I don't think just sex is that important.
It's not about the just sex. Like, so what if you have just sex, but you also get to go to a nice place together? You get to try new food. You get to meet a new person. Maybe this person has friends that you eventually can network with. Maybe there's opportunities there besides just romantic. Maybe you get to meet a good friend. Maybe this turns into something else. You're just looking at it in this reductive black and white binary state of this is either all or nothing.
Well, you're talking about trying to get laid. I don't try to get laid.
I'm saying just because you just try to get laid doesn't mean there could be a whole bunch of other things with the experience.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying.
You don't even make an effort to appreciate those.
No, if I like somebody, I'll do. Yeah, but if I don't, if I'm just sexually, if I just find somebody sexy and my brain's like, I would fuck that, I won't try to just do something.
What if that sexy person is like, I just want to be fucked? You never met a sexy person who does things to themselves like, I don't even want to commit to a relationship either. I just want to be fucked. You never met someone like that?
Well, if they just came up and just like, I didn't have to do anything. I was like, hey, would you fuck me? I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you would have casual sex.
Yeah, but that means I didn't try. Really, I didn't like. I'm like, I need to have sex with her. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna say what I want to say. I'm gonna try to take her out to get her to have sex with me.
I want to reiterate how lazy you are because you make
to do it.
You're painting like going out on a date with this person as like if it's like this gargantuan fucking task. It's like you're going so out of your way just to get some. It's like no, I'm taking a fucking girl out to dinner and then drinks afterwards. Like no need to paint it as this fucking thing that people are putting so much effort into doing.
I guess
you're just lazy.
I am because it's easy.
Stop trying to justify your fucking laziness. Stop trying to paint non-lazy people as bad. Okay.
I can make a grilled cheese and play Zelda.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's plenty of homie girls that like that shit.
Yeah, I know. And I would go out of my way to find one and date one because I would go out of my way if I know I could find somebody that we can just like meet up after work every day and just go watch something stupid, fuck, and then do that. Yes.
The only hard part is
great, but I'm not going to try to just go around fucking somebody. No.
The only hard part is even those girls have standards. Like even the homie girls.
Everyone has standards.
No, I'm saying like when it comes to men.
No,
you don't. You only know your standards as a man. You don't know what women's standards are like because women have needs that men don't understand. Like for example, men might not might not live their life with the same fear that women have. Because like men, they could be like, well, what's the worst that could happen? I end up as a fucking homeless hobo loser. For women, that's not an option. Do you know what happens to women if they end up in that? They get raped, like they get molested, they get killed easier than men. That's just the reality. So for them, finding a relationship isn't as casual as we guys can take it. For them, it's like it's life or death almost. So like we got to understand that about them. Like. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, but everyone works for themselves now and has a job. Like if you meet a girl, especially this age, I'm sorry, if you meet someone, yeah, they probably have a job and they have an apartment and they got their own shit together before they met you, and you probably have your own shit together before you met them, and you meet up and you're like, I'm single, they're single, we both like to fucking do this kind of shit.
Yo, can I ask
And maybe
something?
eventually move in together.
Are you okay with being like, I'm not saying this like as if I know the answer. I don't, because I was just why I'm asking you sincerely. I don't know what you're gonna say to this question, but would you be okay with like being single for the rest of your life?
Yeah, you know what?
Because I think I would be too. I think I would be okay with it. I don't want to think I need it. I don't want to think I need this.
It's weird because I feel like I would like to say no, but then I'm thinking like, realistically, like I wouldn't put up the biggest fuss. I wouldn't kill myself over it.
Yeah, I get you. I feel you.
I would like to. Yes, I'd be like, well, there's a big chunk, like, but I don't really have an. Maybe I'm just beaten and I don't like have ambition for romance anymore.
You don't need to have ambition.
I used to have, dude, like not that many years ago, a couple years ago, I'm like, I need to have romance again. I'm dying with that. Now I'm just like,
dude.
I don't know if it's aging.
No.
I just don't give a shit.
It's wisdom. There's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, no romance is better than forced romance. So straight up.
Oh no, I can't force it. So if I just don't naturally fall in love with somebody, yeah, I'm just gonna have to be okay with being. But the worst case would be meeting somebody that is meeting somebody that you fall in love with and then not being able to be in a relationship.
There's people that are
that's the worst
there's
case.
people that are in our age group that never got to experience a single woman in their entire lives, and it's becoming way more common. Think about that. So when I think about that, like in terms of like, do I need a relationship? It's like I've experienced more love than a lot of guys in this world will ever receive in their whole fucking lifetimes.
Why would you say that?
What do you mean?
Like romance wise?
Yeah.
See, I guess I assume most people fell in love.
No, dude, that's a privilege now. You think you're not just taken for granted in the human experience. Think about like what human life traditionally was like. You were lucky if you got a wife. Okay, because like usually, like when you were a young fighting age, you get shipped off to war.
People all the time, especially young people, like Romeo and Juliet. You just had young people like, oh, those young people, and they're falling in love, but they shouldn't.
That's contemporary. That was at a time when theater was actually a thing for the peasants. When people actually were able to afford enough time to go watch a fucking play. Brendan, like, come on, this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is not like we take these things for granted. I stopped taking it for granted, which is why I stopped forcing romance. You only force romance when you think you deserve romance. If you realize no one deserves it, you're not entitled. I think we would have more meaningful relationships. I think if less people thought to themselves, I deserve love. I deserve romance. I deserve an ideal partner that I'm in love with. I deserve to be with someone. I deserve to not die alone. First of all, everyone dies alone. Like no matter who's in the fucking room with you, okay? Because we discussed that with the nature of the soul and in the whole like unisoul and oversoul is ultimately the same source, all that shit. So
like people like I'm gonna die alone. It's like
you're
no shit, buddy. Welcome to the club. You know when you fall asleep next to your partner, once both of you are unconscious, you're not together. Your physical bodies are touching. You're not conscious. Just like when you get put to sleep, you can't feel them fucking ripping your intestines out. Thank God you can't. You cannot feel your partner's body when you're both unconscious. So
you're gonna die alone.
You fall asleep next to each other, but you both go into your own magical sleep worlds when you're unconscious. Same thing when you die. You die in your own. You die next to somebody.
You're gonna die alone.
Yeah, but it's your own process. This is your own thing. They can't go where you're going by. You're like, it's scary. It's just like if I took a bunch of acid right now and you take an acid and you see
bye.
That, and I'm like,
see you later.
I'm like, and you're trying to talk me down. I'm like, you can't talk me down. You're not here with where I'm going. You can't. Where are you supposed to talk me down? It's okay. You don't see what I'm seeing, buddy. It's not okay. You're not in 5 dimensions at once right now. It's not okay. You can't see this.
Yep. See you later. So yes. So yeah, you do. Everyone does experience.
And that's
death
a very
alone.
scary thought because nobody can help you when shit really hits the fan.
That's not true. When you do die, you know what is reported? Well, this is a distinct possibility, and it's been reported by people who went through NDEs. Your ancestors, they come for you. Because like, who else is going to at that point? You died. You're dead. Who else is going to be there for you except those that are already dead? And I have a lot of friends that I'd like to see on the other side.
Yeah, but why do people see them in a human form?
What do you mean?
Well, like as Force ghosts.
Why not?
Why is it like that? Just seems like a mind-made thing. Like they come back as, "Woo, I'm Obi-Wan." Like I'm your mom. It's like, why are you? You're not a.
Okay, so let me ask you.
You're not a body.
Let me ask you this. All right, like let's say you meet
You
your.
assume a bluish hue of your former form that looks like. So is it for identification purposes?
Let's paint a study.
Am I seeing you with eyes? Oh, what do you mean seeing?
No,
There's no eyeballs anymore.
Brendan, listen. Let me paint a picture for you to try to explain it. Let's say you died, right? And you're suddenly you're in this astral plane, like where it's like everything's like post death and it's all white, and you're in the cosmos. It almost looks like, and you're in this vortex, and all of a sudden, your dead relative comes up to you, and he's like, "Hey, Brendan, I'm here to pick you up and take you to the final place." And then you're like, "Wait a minute,
I'm not Brendan though."
No, listen. You're no. For now, you just died because so you don't. You're still somewhat in between. You know, you just died.
I can't remember that I'm not Brendan yet.
Yeah, you're scared. You know, because you're like, what the fuck happened? You know, so then you get guided by your
wearing off still.
You get your butt guided by your relative, and then your relative says, "Listen, you're dead, and you're going through the process of transitioning." And you're like, "Oh shit." What? What are you looking for? What you looking for? Okay, so anyway, you just died, right? And then the ghost of your dead relative comes up to you, and then he's like, "I'm here to guide you, help you, whatever," right? And then you have questions, right? So you're saying, "I'm dead," and he says yes. And then so you're here, it's like, and he says yes. So you say, "What was it like for you? Like, how did it happen? Like, what was your experience like?" You know? And then he describes it to you. He's like, "Well, when I died, there was just my senses from just me, from my perspective. And then it got wider. Suddenly I was able to see the whole room, right? And then I could see my own dead body. I could see everyone in the room. And then it got wider, where suddenly I could see the whole entire city block, where I was the whole city. But then my perspective got wider, where I was the whole town of worth of people. And then it got wider, where I was like the whole country."
Yeah, but then the people who come to meet you.
No, listen. And then it expanded so much. And then it's like, then I realized I am the cosmos. I am everything. And that's what happens. And then once you become God, and then you have to do your due diligence. You zap back, you condense back into like Brendan's relative form for a bit to guide Brendan, and then just to bring him through whatever, you know?
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. So yeah, that's why Obi-Wan manifests himself as Obi-Wan.
Because Obi-Wan was the Force. And then the Force realized, oh, the Chosen One right now needs the manifestation of me as Obi-Wan. So I'm going to beam in as Obi-Wan. And like, you know, you hear like Qui-Gon and talk about it.
So basically, what you're doing when you become a Force ghost is the opposite of what a Sith does. A Sith uses the Force to try to stay alive in their physical form. Yeah. Where a Jedi
they become God.
They surrender to the Force, to where the Force decides to manifest their form because it was so righteous that they were able to manifest itself as the Force.
Also, when you become a Force ghost, you're basically every Force ghost at the same time.
But the Force doesn't have to do that. It's choosing to at that point. You surrendered your body to the Force. That's what he said. I surrendered my body. That's why he instantly, poof. There was no resistance in any cell in his body to death.
And think about it. All the Jedis...
He didn't need to even decompose. That's how unresistant to death he was.
And think about it. All the Jedi that would become further one with the Force, they would eventually become the same person, because even in their life, they was like, what does it mean to become the one with the Force? Is to follow the same doctrine, to live as this. You basically all the Jedi are essentially supposed to be like a hive mind of the Force. You know, like the Force, they're basically just antenna, and the Force is supposed to transmit their will, and the Jedi follow, right? That's how it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with us. Like we could channel God just as like, you know, a good Jedi. Whereas the Sith do... They cut themselves off from the will of the Force, and they just rip the power straight from it. Yeah. It's like I was gonna light a joint. I have another joint, but yeah, this is a good interim. But yeah, So to become a Force ghost, I think is basically you become every Force ghost at the same time. So I think like when people have NDEs and they get visited by their fucking like...
Yeah, it's not Obi-Wan choosing to manifest himself. It's the Force choosing to manifest
Obi-Wan because the Force is also...
So now that the Force is like, okay, now that Obi-Wan's here, I'm going to use Obi-Wan's energy. I'm going to use that form.
No. It's more like Obi-Wan became the Force. And it's like, oh, I remember what it's like to be Obi-Wan. And I'm going to go back to being that for a second.
Yeah, okay.
That's like Brendan. Brendan becomes God again, and then God's like, "Oh, I remember what it was like to be Brendan."
Yeah.
Thank God. Thank God Brendan gave himself to me. You know, so it's like now he could become himself again. You know, as a ghost.
And that's what's trying to restrict. Yeah.
Whereas when you sell your soul to Lucifer, you can't do that. You know, once you die, you just have to get reincarnated as
Lucifer can only say, "I'll give you this so you can do more on your own."
So when you sell your soul to the devil, it's a trap because
Asking for more power.
But then once you die, you don't become one with you just get reincarnated again and back to the same samsara
You're
bullshit.
trying to take power where surrendering to God is giving all of it to him, and then it could use that power can use you.
Yes.
Rather than you using this power giving you some of itself to you.
Yeah.
You're giving yourself to it and it's using you.
But the dark side power isn't from God. The dark side power is from manipulation and power over dominion over others. Same thing with Luciferian forces, like satanic powers. It's always about like how much control. Like Luciferian power is always the dark side. We're talking about the dark side here, and the dark side is real in real life, is it not? Like, have you ever seen psychopaths and sociopaths use their shit to benefit themselves? Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about health insurance, it's a perfect example.
I want to use the dark side every day, and I do. Use it a little bit almost every day.
But you're bad at it. There's people that are way more skilled.
Oh yeah.
There's people that are way more skilled at the dark side, just as much as there are people that are way more skilled with the light.
Oh yeah, I'd get a blind like rage bit, you know, where that's like an explosion where like somebody like Sidious is a cold, calculated, like I'm gonna take my time and really do something fucked up. Where me, it's like in the moment, like an Anakin killed all the fucking, you know, Tusken Raiders because his mom died. It's like, and he didn't feel good about it afterwards. He had a moment of, holy shit, I lost control. Where the Emperor was like, I am going to use this power. You know, like it's like the dark side was using Anakin. Palpatine was using the fucking dark side, man. He wasn't controlled by it. It was not making him. It wasn't. He wasn't being used. He had control over that shit. Anakin didn't. Darth Vader was like a fucking frustrated monster. Palpatine was like he was on top of his shit. He wasn't letting rage destroy him and he wasn't letting the rage manipulate his decision making.
I think with
calculated.
I think with Vader, it's like
psychopath.
I think with Vader,
Anakin was just angry.
I think with Vader, like the Force light god was like using him as a channel when he was Anakin, because that's what if you're a Jedi, if you're in the Order, you get used as a channel by the light side of the Force. I mean, yeah, some have a stronger connection with the light side than others, but either way, you're getting used as a channel. So when Anakin fell completely, like as the light had a finger in him. And it never fully pulled out. And as the dark enveloped him, there was still a bit of light there. And that caused this whole chaotic imbalance and fucked him up. Like, really bad. I mean, if you could say it manifested physically. Like, his whole, like, fucked up body. I mean, they say the dark side corrupts you, but I don't think that's the case for every Sith, right? Some Sith didn't get physically fucked up. Like Dooku. Dooku was a handsome man, you know?
Well, Palpatine...
Well, you know how there's gray Jedi? Dooku was probably more of like a gray Sith.
Yeah, Palpatine was very like on top of his shit. The dark side wasn't destroying him.
It did eventually. Literally. His own force, his own power destroyed him.
It was the cloudedness of Anakin's thought process and not being... You can't foresee what wasn't even coming to the last second in the first place. Because he could foresee everything that was happening. He could foresee...
Palpatine?
Yes. Yeah. So he's sitting there. He's not afraid of Vader doing. He's not afraid of Luke hitting him because he's like, I can know when you're going to do it before you know you're about to do it. He could not see Vader because Vader was still in dark side mode. So he can only see the future if he was still dark side. So at that moment when Anakin changed from dark to light in that moment and then made a decision, he wasn't able to see that decision coming. He was only because it was clouding it.
That's true.
He can't see that happening. He didn't see his mind change. So the whole time he was like, he's my master. He's my master. I'm going to kill him. It was too quick. He didn't see it coming. At the last moment, he was like, fuck, he tried to shock back at him. And that's the last thing you could do is try to fight back and shock Vader. And Vader knew. He's like, I'm going to die doing this.
Well, what's interesting though, it's like that's also the same kind of thing between like believing in a soul and not believing in a soul. It is kind of the difference between light side and dark side. Like you believe in a soul, boom, you're connected because you believe everything has a soul. Everyone has a soul. Everything has a spirit, and you're connected to that spiritual realm. Whereas if you don't believe it, you're nothing but this body that's going to die, and you're scared of dying, and you want control, and you want resources, you want money, and you want dominion and strength and power.
It was cockiness. In the end, it was cockiness. He was so cocky and evil. He had so much control over the Force that he didn't think that anything could stop him.
But he came back anyway, though.
Like, he was so cocky, he would put, like, it's like a guy putting, thinking he has a lion tamed so well that he's going to put his fucking head in the lion's mouth. Look how much I got this lion. Like, this lion's my bitch. Just like if you had a slave and you let your slave use a straight razor to shave you, like I got this slave under control, and I know they're not going to try to kill me. Same with Vader. He was too cocky.
If Palpatine was so powerful and great, then why didn't he believe in the prophecy? Because the prophecy was obviously true, as it turned out. So then why didn't he believe in it? Like, why didn't he think, like, you know what? There's this crazy prophecy that foretells that if I make my move here, I'm probably going to get my shit kicked in. So, yeah, like, if I'm this powerful, I should know if this prophecy is true or not. And he was wrong. He was able to predict so many other things, but he couldn't tell this prophecy was real.
Well, I don't think he believed in the prophecy. I think it's a Jedi prophecy. I don't think he believed in it.
So I guess ultimately the Jedi is more powerful. The light side is more powerful because it's the prophecy that even the dark side had no faith in turned out to be true.
Well, the Sith are kind of like, fuck prophecy. I'm doing what I fucking want to do. I don't think he had any mind about this. I think to him,
so you're saying
it was like, oh, the Jedi believe in whatever they believe in. All I know is that this motherfucker is powerful, and I'm taking him.
So you're saying the Sith have no faith?
I think all he's thinking is this motherfucker's strong, and I'm taking him. But then again, isn't there the thing where he like kind of helped create Anakin? But then again, he did not know how to use that. He did not have that power. He couldn't even stop anyone from dying. So then, like, I don't think he had the power to create life. Making clones.
I'm just saying
transferring your consciousness still is not creating.
That's a glaring incongruity, though. It's like
he could not create life.
Like, why wouldn't, if Palpatine was able to do all this shit and orchestrate so much shit, why couldn't he see? Even the Jedi who got their shit fucked up, even they believed in the prophecy, and yet, like, Palpatine couldn't see it, and the prophecy turned out to be true. The Jedi were right ultimately. Despite Palpatine, like the Jedi believed in the prophecy. Yeah, even their version of the prophecy was wrong. Still, it was right. So I guess, like,
maybe both was wrong, and he thought fulfilling the prophecy meant that they were going to turn and destroy the Jedi, because the Jedi really,
they were fucked up. Yeah, they were pompous. They were too full of their shit.
Yeah, that is kind of like
they were making bad decisions.
They were not balanced. They were like the top of the food chain motherfuckers at the time. Jedi are not supposed to be that. And like, Jedi are not supposed to be in politics like that. Like, it's very like, they became like like galaxy police pretty much.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, that's not what a monk does. Like for one, it's a religious organization.
It is.
What the fuck are you doing? And like, I guess it's a warrior class. It's its own thing, but it's like, it's just, Jedi, Sith, the Force doesn't need a group of people calling them, like the Force sensitives and making a whole thing out of it. I don't know.
Yeah, but the problem is the institution strengthens the members of the institution. Like, as a Force sensitive, you could just be a Force sensitive existing in a galaxy. However, if you're a Force sensitive who gets training, who gets proper guidance, they could end up doing a lot more good, or a lot more evil, actually. So there is something within that universe to be said about the skillful path, about like the path of mentorship and training.
Palpatine wasn't wrong. He's like good as a point of view, Anakin. He's like, the Jedi want power just as much as the Sith do. Is it any different? He's not fucking wrong. Well, he's an asshole, but he's not fucking wrong.
Well, the Jedi are just imperfect vessels doing the Force's perfect work.
He's like, it's like two wrongs don't make a right. He's saying, yeah, the Jedi shouldn't be, you taking power. But I'm gonna take power too. It's like, no. How about nobody does? How about no one?
Yo, do you believe? Do you believe? I believe so, but do you believe that Star Wars is actually a highly spiritual series?
Yeah, that's why I like it. It's always been like, actually, to me, I got it when I was having a crazy experience and a fever when I was a kid, and I saw it and I couldn't move, and I'm like, dying on the floor in the kitchen. I remember it was on a TV, a little kid, and I remember watching it in the end of Return of the Jedi. I just couldn't. I was never interested until then, and I just couldn't move my view from it. And I watched the whole trilogy. I mean, I also watched it in the theater with my dad. And it's always been, I never liked Star Trek or anything. It was too like science fiction-y for me. I liked the Star Wars. It had the spiritual aspect
Star
of the
Trek
Force.
was sick. You
I
like
liked
Star
it.
Trek.
And I, as a kid, who didn't try to like, it moved, didn't it? It moved. I saw it move. Like, who didn't like that?
Apparently that shit is
You
real,
didn't
by
have
the
that
way.
with Star Trek. Yeah, pew, pew, phasers and shit. What the fuck is that shit?
I think we just weren't ready. Now we're starting to realize like maybe we can. Where's that pink lighter? Do you still have it?
I like Rick and Morty's lightsaber episode. It's like, well, this is why we don't have lightsabers. They dropped it and it became a whole fucking thing. It was like gonna hit the planet core and fucking you just can't stop it.
Yeah, so Star Wars is very spiritual, which means, I mean, if you want to talk about the Force in real life, like we were just talking about energy and chi, like willpower. I do think that's real. I think that's the source of actual real magic.
Guys, my blood sugar is 307 and going up, so I am going to take more of this tasty, delicious insulin. Brought to you by Novolog Flux Plan. Pre-filled pens.
Yeah. So on this podcast, we advertise insulin and semen retention. If you have insulin and semen retention in your life, you'll be unstoppable. You'll be a Jedi Knight in no time. Save your cum and save your blood sugar.
Except, please, guys, don't take in. Don't be like those fucking weight loss people. Don't. There's diabetics out there like me, and we're fucking. Life's hard enough.
Ozempic? You're against Ozempic?
I hate every one of you working pancreas piece of shit motherfuckers. Stop taking my fucking insulin. How about you just go to the fucking gym?
Are you talking about Ozempic?
Yeah.
Ozempic. That's a good topic. We could talk about Ozempic.
I don't know I don't take Ozempic, so I don't give a shit actually. But why are you taking shit? You don't take. What the fuck's wrong with you?
No. So look.
It doesn't even get you high. What's the point?
Whenever we do an episode, primarily we talk about like the spiritual nature of things, which is great because this is what I'm mostly interested usually. Because I'm like, this is the most important game in life. Honestly, you're the nature of your spirit, your soul, and like
the most important game in life right now for me is Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Best game of all fucking time. Best open world, especially if you have ADHD.
Zelda is a game about archetypes. Psychological archetypes, like the hero, the tyrant, the magician.
I like that nature of it too. Playing the hero role,
and then the whole concept of the Triforce is very important because that's,
you know what, they do a great job because you have a character, but you are the character because Link doesn't talk, and you don't have to so you don't like some games you play it like if I'm playing Assassin's Creed and I'm Ezio Auditore. I'm fucking Ezio Auditore. I'm this character. Link could be anyone I want Link to be. Link is my Link. If some guy named fucking Steven or some girl named Lisa plays Link, it's their Link. It's their
Link
version
doesn't
of Link.
murder
And in this game, it's your version.
Constantinople or something.
No, but it's my version of Link. I choose how to dress him, what to do, what weapons to use, what weapons to make, how I want to do a problem. I could do it a totally different way. The way they do it, it's like old Zelda games used to be like, there's a way to solve this puzzle.
And yet,
this game, it's like you figure out a way to do this, and there's like a million different ways you can figure it out, even ways the developer didn't think of. The way they've made the mechanics of this game. Yeah. So they could be like, yeah, the game probably wanted me to do it this way, but I could like make a thing and like shoot up through the fucking cave and make it to like some crazy thing. Like last night I was playing just trying to mine some rocks, and I accidentally broke something and led into a hole, went under something. You have this power to where you could fucking shoot through the ceiling and pop out anywhere you want. So I shot through the ceiling, and it's like the third demon Medusa thing. I'm like, I am way somewhere I'm not supposed to be yet, and I have to get away from this thing that's like, I try to shoot it with something. I'm like, yeah, that's a good check on that. I need to be 80,000 levels. I need like 200 more hours before this, and I shouldn't be here, but I was there. I was able to be there for some reason, but it was like, how did I go mining for rocks somewhere and ended up on like this side of the map with this, like, how did I get here? But it was fucking wild, and I love that part of the game. And I just teleported out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna see where this is. It's probably something important later in the game, but I'm not supposed to be in this room.
So it's like it's so different, right? For every person's experience, and yet every person can still like connect with it. Every person could still resonate with it. Now, what I would point to is, you know about the hero's journey?
Yes, of course.
So I think that's what it is.
Campbell.
I think that's what it is. Like, no matter what game you play, like whether you're playing Assassin's Creed or Zelda, you're going to follow that general outline of the hero's journey. Now, however, like different games can like kind of modulate that experience for you, but I think that's what we have to focus on when it comes to video games or even watching a movie or living your like fucking life. We're literally playing out like when you talked about the trip thing, like it's just a trip. It's all just a trip. Every trip is basically a hero's journey circle. Like that's what it is. It's like I'm going on a trip. Well, that trip has a beginning and an end, and then you go on another beginning and an end.
That's what I like about this game, because it's a big hero's journey, but at the same time, there's little. Yes, it's like watching like Avatar or something. He needs to go and get the fucking 4 different elements and go to these completely far away distant lands. And I can see some of these distant lands. I know it's going to take me like 50 hours to get there, but I can see it in the distance. That's how amazing this map is.
Yes.
Like, on the way, I'm going to do this and be like, hey, so yeah, guys, the miners over there, there's a beast in that fucking cave over there, and like so-and-so lost their daughter, and you can do, okay, while I'm on the way here, I'm going to stop at this place and then help this town out and then keep moving. And then I'll have a save point here. Like there's a place where like a checkpoint there, and I can keep going, expanding further into the map as I go. Yeah. And I love that. And I can always get back to things. I can be like, you know what? I do not want to look for those birds right now. I'm going to go do this instead. And I can go back to it whenever I feel like it. It's a great game for if you have ADHD.
All right, so when it comes to the completion of each circle, like there's one thing that I want to say. It's like people look at it. This is a bad way to look at it. When you look at it as a circle, it's not really a circle. It's really a spiral. Because like every trip, you don't just go in a circle. You also go up. So you're not like starting from square one. You make that circle, but you also elevate and you go up. So it's like a spiral upwards, or it's a spiral downwards. Like you could make that trip and you could end up lower. So it's like really on you to like end up making your trips to go on a upwards trajectory, or making those trips and going on a downward trajectory.
Yeah.
And we see it all the time in fiction. We see it in movies. We see it in video games. What was the saddest video game? Actually, we all know like the best games are the ones that you can make like really dark or really good, like Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Like, for one, actually funny because last night I was on some message board about it, and like somebody else said, and I said it when I was younger, like when it happened, like that twist was better than the original Star Wars trilogy twist of I Am Your Father. That was the better twist of I Am Darth Malik. And when the way they, I'm sorry if there's spoilers for anyone that didn't play the game, you're fucked now if you heard that, but you should have saw it coming, but you don't. The way they set it up, and then they show you everything that everyone said to you that you should have put it together, but you didn't, and you feel like how you should feel. You feel like the character at that moment. You're like, and he's like, yes, do you get it now? You, Revan, do you understand what they did to you? And you're like, what, Bastila, you fucking whore. And like, you really feel emotional.
Like
because you've been building the relationship towards Bastila in the game sometimes.
Well, the worst part is,
and now I'm like, wait, but you said this. It's like, well, and like it's just like the Obi-Wan. It's like, well, it's true from a certain point of view. It's like, no. But
the
Jedi
worst part is no.
And
like, listen. The worst part is about the Bastila situation is that when she does reveal it to you, you're in a position where you have to save her. So not only do you have to save her, but she tells you, it's like, yeah, I also fucked you over, by the way. It's like, God damn it.
You really do have a choice. You're like,
yeah.
You actually, if you just played the game for the first time and this happens to you, you're like,
this big.
Oh, fuck the light side. That, like, you really feel the pull of the dark side of the Force in that moment in your real life. That's a great game. Like, the part where she's getting tortured and she's like, just don't tell him anything. And you have to watch her getting tortured. This is before the thing. Yeah. And you're saying everything. You're like, and at first you're like, okay. And they make it bad. She's like screaming. It's like, and then like, they're like, okay, now tell us the truth and we'll do it again. Don't tell him. And you're like, you do it again. And it's like bad. And it's like, I always do it at the last time. I'm like, and she's like, you shouldn't have told him the truth. You betrayed the Jedi. You shouldn't have told them where they were. and like I couldn't watch you suffer like that anymore. And at the end, she's like, "Yes, actually, there was a moment I really wish you would have just told me where all the Jedi were, so they can kill them all, because couldn't stand a moment more of the torture." And you're like, "Holy shit! Like, this game is fucked up. Like, why are you putting me in this position?" This is a part where it's like the guy's like, "You have to let me out of here. But if you press the wrong thing and buttons, I'm gonna like be killed and tortured before like." And it's like dark side points gained. You're like, "Fucked." Fuck, I didn't mean to do that. Like, it's such a good fucking game, but that part. And I'm like, if you do stay light side, though, you did do that. You won. You didn't let all of that, like, what? You're like, okay, still, he is destroying the galaxy. I should help the Jedi because this is still pretty bad what he's doing. And like, maybe I should turn to the light side. You know, you do have that choice there, but it's such a good fucking game. And then she turns, and that's such an amazing game. I wish they didn't.
My first playthrough was a light side, Revan. I felt proud of myself at the end of it.
I've done Dark Side, and it's boring. It feels wrong. It doesn't feel like the right ending. Like, canonically, it feels like this is not the right ending to this story.
The problem with Knights of the Old Republic is where it becomes predictable is that you realize they can only tell a compelling story in that kind of series if the Jedi become more...
You can tell Zalbar, since you owe me a life debt, you have to kill and eat your best friend since childhood. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He hates this 14-year-old fucking Twi'lek girl that he grew up with and was protecting because he owes a life debt to you, and now that you're evil, you're like, "You know what? Kill her." Like, that's some sick shit.
Yeah.
And then fucking Karth is like, "Fuck," he runs away.
He's psycho.
Yeah, he's like, "You fucking psycho." Like, and you just like go ballistic. You could choose to just like it's like telling you, like, "Oh, it's so fucking." Every time I saved your life, kill your child in front of me. You told me you'd do anything. It's okay. It's demanded by the gods.
Yeah.
Use them as religion against him to make him kill his fucking... Well, it's so fucked up. And you have like half your team left at the end because you killed off half of them because you're a psychopath.
You know what? Knights of the Old Republic is basically just Dungeons and Dragons Star Wars style.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. It's perfect. They did RPGs like that are great. And I hate when people give a shit. It's like, "Oh, I hate when you swing and it misses. It doesn't look like it misses." You can't really change that. It's the battle mechanic. In real life, you can't just pick up any weapon and immediately be able to hit anything with it, especially things that are trying to dodge when you're swinging at them, right? So it should be that you miss most of the time with the weapon at first.
Another big problem with the mechanics is because they have to use the Force powers. Like, if you don't have the Force powers, then it's not a Jedi game. And the Force powers necessitate that kind of... It's magic. It's basically it's like the magic mechanic. That's why...
Perfect. That's perfect. You have mana. And you can have characters that are more Force, but there's like sense, you know, they get hit and they're not physical, so they get hit.
Yeah.
You know, and then you can wear armor, but if you want to do more Force powers, you can't wear armor. You have to wear robes.
You ever do those ridiculous play styles? I mean, I know it's a real thing, but like...
I'm a creature of habit with that game.
I would never play like without lightsabers. You know, some people play like Force powers and blasters. I was like, nah, fuck that.
I can't. No.
I need the sabers, bro. I need the.
It's actually very, very viable in KOTOR 2, but
you could fuck people up with like battle meditation. That was like the shit.
But like
you're saying I could use Basila's fucking thing now?
You could just pretty much nuke the last boss and just fuck it up. But you can do that. You can also do that with one.
No, nothing beats the first in early 2000s. That first playthrough of Knights of the Old Republic. You're like in the city. It's like a Rancor, and you're shooting the grenade in its mouth or some shit.
Yeah, you have to hide the food inside the thing with the.
You do the speeder race. You go do these conspiracies. That first part
is hard too, getting out of that first city, and it feels like forever.
But that was honestly a good solid fucking.
And then you get out, and it's like the whole this mini space battle, and then you watch like. Destroy, and it's just obliterating the whole city right after you left it.
Honestly,
turning it into fucking glass.
With Terrorisk, it almost feels like you get tricked, right? You play through that whole thing and you're like, wow, so we finally left the planet, and then you realize like the game is huge. You're like, oh fuck, like I have to go to all these other planets.
I love that. That's how it's that Tears of the Kingdom you saw from the Sky Islands. And when you finally leave there and you get on this thing, you drop down, you go, and from the sky, you get to see, like, where you're going in the world. And, like, you start off vertical in this game. And, like, you go and you're like...
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing about
and you see it, and you just and you're in a pond in this, and you just saw it from the fucking very top of the world map, like floating down, like that's all the way over, that's all the way, and you just and you fall to the ground. Now you're on the ground, and it's like, okay, I saw that, and then we run towards what I saw when I was up, and you realize, oh,
yo, you talking to the mic though.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. And I'm like, oh shit, wait. You're like, you can't just run all the way over there, like, and get there.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking wild. It's like I could see, like, it's like me getting out of work and seeing the Verrazano Bridge and going, and thinking I'm gonna just get up to it real quick and like skip and a hop and a jump. That's how the game feels. Like you see it, but it's like I could sit here with the joystick like this, and there's gonna be a mountain. I might have been able to get across that river on the way there, and I can't get to that yet. You know, somehow I'll get to it. Maybe I'll build a bridge later on. I don't fucking know. But like, you know, and then you can go under the ground, and the underground is just as big as the fucking whole world map too.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy.
You know what I've always liked? It's like, do you remember when video games first started introducing day and night cycles?
Pokemon Gold and Silver.
That shit was sick, right? You were like, it's like a whole other world.
You waited till nighttime to catch nighttime Pokemon.
That was good shit, right?
That was amazing. It was like a world. The world was in the Pokemon game.
Yeah,
it was real. It was alive.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I think Gold and Silver was more advanced than
you
what
had
came
to wait
after.
till Tuesday for the bug catching contest.
Yeah.
And you went to and it was like, okay, it's Tuesday at this time. You get to catch certain bugs at the bug catching contest, and it was fucking amazing. But
yo, do you remember?
Now you have events.
Do you remember how Gold and Silver had 2 sets of Elite Fours, and then the game after didn't, because you got to go through both Johto and Kanto? You remember that? That was sick.
That game was huge, dude. I did not expect that.
I was like, what? I got to start all over again? Like, dude, that's sick.
You get both games in one. They're like, yeah, let's just put the whole first
the next
game
one didn't
inside
do that,
of the second
right?
game.
The next one didn't. No,
but Ruby and Sapphire were fucking amazing games.
They were okay. I like
Ruby
Gold
and Sapphire.
I thought Gold, Silver, and Crystal were better than Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald, to be honest.
I know. I like Ruby and Sapphire.
Really?
Yeah. And after that fell off for me.
Because going from like Red and Blue to Gold
just now.
Because Red and Blue to Gold and Silver was like a crazy jump. I was like, it was mind blowing as a kid. And I think that jump was bigger than like Gen 2 to Gen 3. Gen 1 to Gen 2 was like huger.
Back in the day before they asked you,
are you a boy or girl?
Oh, you're a boy. They're like, you're a white boy. That's what you get. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Use your imagination. It's a sprite. Use your fucking imagination, asshole. You could pretend it's a girl. It doesn't matter.
I always played as a girl. That was my shit with Pokemon, playing as a girl trainer.
Yeah, but you couldn't at first. It was just you're this little white boy sprite.
Well, that's why I did it as soon as, because like I remember the first time you got to play as a girl. It was when Crystal came out. Because first it was
really? I thought it was just Ruby and Sapphire.
No, it was Red and Blue. Red and Blue came out, and then Gold and Silver came out. And you could only play as Gold or Silver. But then Crystal came out, and you got to play as the blue-haired girl.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Gold and Silver was like my shit, and I also remember when the first movie came out. That was like a huge deal when I was a little kid. It's like, whoa, we get to go to the movie theater, and you got
the Mew, the card.
I have a copy of that card.
Oh man, I remember my dad taking me. He fell asleep next to us during it. And I thought it was like, dude, those little changes were so epic to us. It was like nothing really. And thinking about it now, I'm like, that's not even like, to an adult, I would have been like, how are you this excited about this? But as a kid, you're sitting there and you're like.
No, Brandon.
And you see that Donphan come out of the Donphan come out of the Pokeball, and you're like, the fuck is that? There's more Pokemon? Holy fuck, you almost died.
Nah, Brendan, think about it this way. Think about like,
you almost had a fucking heart
think
attack.
about like the 80s and 90s. Think about like 10 years before that, like in the 80s or
Before
20s.
that, yeah, the Hulk.
They didn't have shit
Before
like
that, you had a purple character on the Hulk, and it was like, oh my god, this is cutting edge craziness. This is insanity. Everyone's
Yeah,
gonna lose their mind. There's a purple Hulk now.
But you got to admit, Pokemon was more advanced because it wasn't just about the cartoons or the comics.
It was a game because now this is a playable thing.
Yeah. You got to be it. You know, you got to do
This
it.
can't just exist in the cartoon. This is now in whatever game is going to come out. This is new now. This is a part of my life now. I want it. It's mine. It's not mine as it's a toy. This is mine. I'm going to get it, and mine's going to kill every other one's. Like, yeah.
Yeah, Pokemon was good shit. I can't believe you liked Assassin's Creed, though. That was interesting.
When I was in Texas, my friend sold me the Xbox, and I started playing every single one. Actually, best fucking series ever.
You never got into Watch Dogs. I think you would like Watch Dogs a lot. I know, like Assassin's.
I need my Xbox. I need to play the new Assassin's Creed. I didn't play it yet. I need to. I need to play the one that came out in Baghdad. I forgot what one's called actually.
What about the Japan one?
That's the newest one. I want to play that too, of course.
Do you identify as the Black Samurai man?
I don't care. I just want to play the fucking game. I'll probably use stealth most of the time, just because. Not because I don't want to be the Black Samurai. Maybe, but I'll probably do that when it gets hard. But when I want to be stealthy, I probably want to do it assassin-y style. So I'm probably going to pick ninja and just like, you know.
It is more thematically appropriate.
But there's probably going to be parts where it's like, this makes more sense to do it like this. And it seems like the game and story makes it. I don't like games where you play as two characters. Actually, did not play through Assassin's Creed, the one for England.
Do you mind spliffs?
I don't like them, but I'll take a hit. But
I don't like them.
What?
No, I mean it's the way you said I don't like them.
I don't like mixing tobacco with. I don't like mixing those plants together.
Right. How is that one treating you?
It's okay, but I like the pure taste of that. So I've been liking the wax concentrates and the live rosins, even though it's expensive. But I like the full spectrum of the flavor of the cannabis plant. I like it. I like how cannabis, they have flavors, like naturally occurring growth flavors, like different
full spectrum flavor.
There's different flavors of plants. It's like I like that.
Speaking of the senses, I want to ask, because you like gaming. When it comes to the next dimension to add to the experience, what would you rather have? Would you rather have haptic feedback, like wearing a vest where you could feel things, or would you rather have smell, like being able to smell things from the game?
I don't think actually that would make the game any more distracting. I don't think, for one, that would feeling things would drastically change the way someone would play it based on how extreme you would feel. Like, is it gonna hurt if I get hit? Because I'm not gonna play it the same way.
No, if you,
I'm not gonna be like, "Oops, I died." I'm gonna be like, "Holy shit! Holy fucking shit! Fuck!" No, I'm not gonna be like, really ballsy about it.
No, where it's like if you could wear gloves while playing your Switch, and every time the character picks something up, you feel something solid in your hands.
Yeah, but they already have vibrations, and that is kind of cool. It works. So maybe that'd be cool. Smelling, that's way cool, but
it would be bad sometimes.
They wouldn't I wouldn't want to play Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout would be a bad game.
It would be unrealistic for it not to always smell. It would just the game would just be like, oh, warning. At first it's really bad, but just like anyone in life, after several hours of gameplay, you get used to the smell. Look, it's just that's just how it would be. If you woke up in that world, you'd be like, holy shit. And after a while, you'd just be like, you wouldn't smell it anymore.
You know what I think would be another.
If you smoke a lot of pot, you don't think you reek of weed, but everyone that doesn't smoke pot is like, holy shit, that guy's high as fuck. Because you smell like weed to everyone else. Almost if you're an alcoholic, you don't realize you smell like booze all the time.
How would you feel about where the next where gaming would advance to a point where it's instead of just looking at a two-dimensional screen, you would see this whole thing projected, a scene, All right, you remember in Star Wars Episode 4 when like the way R2D2 projected Leia's message, and it was like a 3-dimensional holographic figure? What if that's how you could play games like that? You know, instead of looking at like a flat screen, you could see like an actual field of vision. You know?
It kind of does already look like that. Maybe that'd be cool. Yeah.
That would be a good fighting game, honestly.
So it'd be a vertical holographic screen.
Yeah.
So the screen would be like the table downwards, and you'd be playing, and like it would be like this is your character, and everything is like, ugh. Like
yeah.
Chessboard,
Yeah.
Almost like the chessboard that they had in the Millennial Falcon,
Yes.
but like a full game. And I guess what would happen is like that's not the size of the map. Like say if it was a game like Zelda, it would just be like, say this is the tree. As you're running, it would just be like, and new things would pop up in the map.
What
like
if
this.
what if you could shift the perspective from like here to like there, and then to there?
Well, then you would need but that means you would need a whole extra screen on each side that you would run towards that the rest of the map would go to, and then but how would that become 3D then?
Interesting.
With the holograms would have to come from the screen and go like a hologram. It would be just on the flat screen, but as you got closer to it, it would be appear on this part.
Maybe
on the flat part, like as a hologram.
What if it wasn't a flat table and it was like a bubble, so you got to see like an actual plane, you know, like an actual 3-dimensional plane. So you got to see underneath too. So it goes from like down and up, and not just like up down.
It's too much.
It is too much. You're right.
Yeah, it's not. I can't like.
You ever try 3D?
Well, I like the virtual reality. Like,
I mean, you ever try virtual reality? Yeah.
Like open world games are good, and like they sell a lot for a reason. There's a lot of games do that now because it is the ultimate experience. Being in a virtual world, the closer you can get to it, like building, making characters, going. You know, that's like Skyrim and shit like that, right?
Yo, hold that thought.
Yeah, but I'm saying I like I watch videos of people playing virtual, and I would love to like imagine being in that world and being able to look around and go, holy shit, and like be there and like actually like fight and like it feels like I'm in another world. Yeah, depending on how cumbersome the device would be, I'd love that. Like video games are fucking great. I think it's a great art form. You know.
VR would be a good one.
But yeah, I think that's a good. But other than that, no, I don't think anything extra would be good in a game. I feel like it's a way to relax, but also engage in something. And I like video games for different reasons. Some people are competitive. I like being able to get into like a story or go into another world that I can have fun in, like, and enjoy and do different things in.
Yeah.
Like that's why I like open world games a lot. I like story games. I'd like to get a virtual reality thing. I don't know what Nintendo's gonna do next. I think it's gonna be a second Switch, but what could they do? What could they do to the Switch to make it viable to have a second one?
I think let's see. It's probably not VR. I don't think VR is it. VR is
because they add something to every device they come out with, right? The Switch is a new thing, or the first thing that you could use as a portable device.
Oh, like what Nintendo does. Nintendo does.
What's the new thing? The Switch 2, what can it do that the Switch can't? It can't just be better graphics. It has to be something. They add something to everything.
Probably AI.
AI to the new Switch? What does that entail?
Like, as in, like maybe they'll start coming out with games that are just like that are different every time you play it. You know, like you play an RPG and there's no.
Yeah, but they could do that with the same hardware they have.
What do you mean?
And they still do that. That is, games are always updated. There's new things in your games all the time.
No, I'm saying like games where it's like you talk to a character and it's never going to give you like canned responses.
Yeah, but they don't need a new console for that. You just need.
I don't think they can't do that on the Switch.
Coding or. I don't know.
That probably takes like massive processing power. I don't know, but
then again, I really don't know like what Like everyone's like PlayStation 5. It's like, what's different other than space and graphics?
All right, so with these
We're just gonna keep bumping up, leveling up a little bit.
I mean,
more
it's
now.
no one's done that yet with any game design. Like, no one's actually applied like a really solid language mod. Like, we've all played RPG games.
People have already done it to Skyrim characters, though.
Yeah, but it's
imported AI into a Skyrim character.
But it's not good. Like, it's not like actually like streamlined. Like, it's like none of these actual game designers who made these games like ever did that.
Like set up the coding for the character, and that's,
yeah. Like,
but that's what they do that with people. They do that with bots. So the best you can do is what a bot can do.
No. I'm saying like all you're looking at is like janky modding, basically. Like someone
Yeah,
modded,
yeah.
but I'm
Yeah.
saying like no game developer has actually made this with this integrated in mind. They're going to. Like, could you imagine instead of some janky version of Skyrim with like an AI chat bot for the NPCs, it's actually like full CGI cutscenes, and they're like saying they're talking to you, responding to you.
That scares the shit out of me.
Why?
Haunted. I'm afraid of things being. If a game glitches too hard at me, I feel like it's alive. It's communicating with me. There's a ghost inside of that, and I'm fucking. Metal Gear Solid scared the fucking shit out of me and JoJo. We turned off the game just like it told us to. Okay, the game told us to turn it off, and we listened because it hard. And
You don't be fucked up.
Hideo is a fucking genius for fucking writing this. But in Metal Gear 2, it starts glitching out on purpose, but you don't notice at first. It's like, at first you think you're going crazy. In real life, you're like, yo, you just see that? And it's like, oh, what are you talking about, man? I'm like, okay. Yo, the face on the fucking comm just glitched. That's not just me. And you're still playing, and it's like, you have to go over here. Raiden. I'm like, wait, I did that mission already. Raiden, turn off the game. Turn off the game right now. You're like, is it fucking talking to me? And turn off the PlayStation. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's a part of the game. And it's like, what the fuck is going on here? And if the game had AI and it was like, out of nowhere, the game's going, it's like, Brendan, you have to kill your mother. And it's like, the game just said that. It's like, I tell the developers, like, no, it can't. We didn't code it like that. There's no way the game could do that. And now I'm having a panic attack because my game is like, you will never tell anyone about this.
No. You think that's horrifying? I'll tell you a more horrifying scenario. What if there was a game called Greg? A game called Greg, right?
This is already done in Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty did this. You lived the whole life.
You're right, but what if it was through your what if it was the next Nintendo device, right? And like you got to play this game, and it was like it was a nice looking game. It was cute or it was beautiful looking or whatever. And you get to play this guy who is a lot like you. You know, he's just this regular dude. He's like an adult, and he's got his own life. And he in this game, he doesn't like do anything scary, do anything crazy, do anything like adventurous too much. It's just slice of life game. Like he just has a job. Maybe he's a farmer. Maybe he's a graphic novelist or whatever. And he has a girlfriend. And this girlfriend is like, she doesn't spit canned responses. She's an actual AI bot programmed to be your girlfriend. And you guys have like this life, and you guys have your drama, and even the drama is AI generated. It's every day. Like eventually, I think this is the kind of life where people will be like, fuck my real life. I'm just going to play this all day, every day.
People already do that with games anyway, though.
I know, but now it's gonna get.
I do that in kind of way. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
now-
fuck this.
now-
I want to be Link playing Tears of the Kingdom right now. I know that I have this mission waiting for me at home. I know that I still didn't do the fucking catch that fish.
Yeah, but now it gets even more sophisticated.
Yeah, it's gonna be people like we could already be doing it. You know, as a lot of people can say, like, you know.
Well, I mean, that's probably not that different from real life if you think
Yeah.
about it.
It's like, if really life is just an open world game, both of the same things in different ways, you know.
Yeah.
I wonder how big my game is. Like, if Link is 5'7", how big is the game? If it takes me this many steps to get that, like, how big is it? I don't know. Maybe I could look that up. But it's wild. I can't believe how they can fucking do. And this is a Nintendo. It's one thing with Nintendo, you can't get that game. Like, I can, you know, Xbox, you can get either game. Like, if it's a good
What I'm
game-
actually more interested in is like learning to make board games, or like tabletop games kind of deal, or trading card games. I think those games are becoming more interesting to me as like video games become more advanced. Because all these video games, because like what really opened my eyes to this was like Baldur's Gate 3, where what they did, they basically managed to digitize like an actual living, breathing D&D campaign. And
I played D&D.
You've played D&D?
Yeah.
It's a special game, right? Because it's more...
It's all dependent on you making it good.
In a lot of ways, it's more advanced than any video game could ever be.
That game can only be as good as you and your friends can make it, though.
But that's why Baldur's Gate 3... Baldur's Gate 3 was so brilliant because it was the first game that was so expansive, it came close to actually scratching that D&D itch. You know, where it's like the whole fun of playing a D&D game is like anything could happen. It depends on what you and your friends decide to do. Like if the dungeon master says, yeah, you could roll for petting that puppy, and you roll for it and you accidentally explode it with your fist, you know, like shit like that happens. And Baldur's Gate 3 managed to actually like kind of reflect that freedom. And yeah, it's another, even if you look at any sandbox game, even that like gives you rules, right? It gives you a specific set of rules that's very physics based.
You want to get a D&D team started?
You want to play D&D?
Yeah, I'm down.
I'll play D&D. I don't really know how to play though, like actual tabletop wise. I know how to play Baldur's Gate 3. I kind of get the gist.
Well,
of
we need somebody to be a dungeon master.
Yeah, I mean,
That could be anyone who decides to just get the book and you just look at it, read how to do it.
I should probably learn to read. I should probably learn to be a dungeon master. Honestly, if I could do that, then I could just like make campaigns, and I can make them good. I think I'll make a good fucking campaign.
Yeah, all you need is like it's just giving you pretty much the books are giving you the mechanics to work
Yo,
with.
speaking to the mic.
Giving you the mechanics to work with, you know.
Yeah.
And you just go from there and just build and make up whatever you want with the mechanics, you know.
If I made a D&D campaign, I'd want it to be like futuristic a little, like make it like take place in the year like 2060.
We've done one where it was just our town, but it was like like beings from the fantasy world came to our town, and like we had to do things like transformed it. So like, you know, the town square was now like this giant castle thing. Everything like, you know, got warped, but it was still like the geography was still the same as the town we were living in.
Yeah.
You know?
And those are like the tabletop games. And there's also, imagine like making your own trading card game.
I've tried to do that as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, I just sit there and cut up pieces of paper and write like this is the health points, this is that.
Interesting. Yeah, see, I like that stuff because I think, you know, honestly...
When I was a kid, holy shit. When I was a kid, I would make I would try to make little board games and arcade and like a little RPG games out of paper. And when I got into D&D stuff, my dad used to play D&D when he was a teenager, and he gave me all of his old books and dice and shit like that. And holy shit, I'm having like allergies. Yeah. I'd make little trading cards and shit like that, and then on the computer I'd download RPG Maker, and I'd make little ones RPGs out of that, and I'd have JoJo play them. It'd be funny, like he'd like go into houses, like, you know, in games like you normally like it would be like Super Nintendo graphics.
Damn.
And like it would just like they just gave you sprites. You're like, okay, I'm gonna set up this sprite, put it here, give them its stats, and like make it like when you go here and hit that, it's gonna make that open or that appear, or that person say that, you know.
Damn, that's brilliant as fuck. You do realize like most kids your age would be doing way more retarded shit on average. Like that shit, that's some advanced that's some advanced little kid
but look
shit.
at shit we did. We went to newgrounds.com. Those were other kids just making fucking videos. You know, I did it and I sucked at it. I made little stick figure videos with Flash, where you just made a stick figure with the fucking mouse, and then you took frame and you said you drag the arm like this, like a little deep.
Yeah,
the frame, and then just like, you know, like made it like a fucking Super Saiyan dude. And like I realized some people have just sat there for days and days and just made a fucking full ass cartoon, you know, and I didn't know it, or made a full video game. You know, and it was just, these are just games you signed as a kid. And this is crazy because you just played Pico's School or something, or played a Britney Spears dress up game. These are like fucking like teenagers to like 20-year-olds just sitting there like learning how to use Flash, or like anything they can use to make like a stupid like click game, you know, about shooting up your school or something, you know, or miniature RPG Flash game, you know. I wasn't special. An RPG Maker was just a thing. You can buy it now. It's just a thing that you can make, and you just build little things and like set it up, and where it makes things happen.
Yeah.
It makes a mini RPG game or something like that, depending on how much time you want to spend on it. But yeah, shit like that's fun to do. I was born like 89, so I still had like time before like the internet and like technology completely took over everything.
It didn't take over everything.
It's a completely different world.
Yeah, it is a different world. You're right. I was born in 91.
Like, it had a paradigm change when it happened. A lot of people, especially younger people, don't like see that, because it's like, to them this never didn't exist. They have no experience of this, not just like I have no experience of TV not existing. To me, it's absurd that you didn't have a TV. And what do? Just sit around fucking listening to sounds in the distance? Fucking weird. That's weird to kids now. That the fact that you couldn't just do this. Like, you had to just be like, when you had to sit at a restaurant, you had to like look at people.
You know what?
And like that's all you heard was whatever was going on in your general surrounding. You had nothing else to pay attention to.
You know what? On some level, I agree with you, but also it's like, I do like martial arts and shit, so that's some shit. It's like, I'm like, it's just, when I do it now, it's like, I see younger people doing it, and it's like the kind of thing you would expect. Like, why are people still doing this? And at least like I see both ends, yeah, the world is different, but when I do like Japanese martial arts, I'm like, at some level, people are still doing the same shit too, Even like we're riding bicycles, really? Like, why the fuck are we're riding?
Bicycles will never, ever be obsolete.
Yeah, the bicycle
No, it's just logical. I'm not saying this as an enthusiast. I'm saying that if I didn't even like bikes, I would be like just angry about it. But I'd be like, they'll never be fucking obsolete.
No,
like I'm saying, it's just a fucking
there's nothing
truth.
to worry about. It's just true. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about it. It's not something that's going away. You're gonna, whether you like it or not. We're gonna have them, and people are gonna ride them.
No. You're right. The question isn't whether bicycles are gonna exist. Of course they're gonna fucking. It's too perfect of an invention.
Like, bicycles existed, like, before the car, and people still ride bicycles.
The real question is how are bicycles going to evolve? Because that's always fascinating. Because like bicycles were already perfect, but they evolved over time. Like, you know what? All right. You know what? Really, the truth is, like, the design for the bicycle was around a lot longer than before the bicycle. Leonardo da Vinci, I think he like was the first guy.
It's just a crank system with wheels.
Yeah, exactly.
And a chain and a drive system.
But the thing that really made it work, like the invention, was rubber. Like, we needed rubber. That was the final missing.
Wait, so yeah, you're right, but that means like we're actually using a fossil fuel limited, wasteful resource to use these things, and
yes,
it wouldn't work with anything else.
Yeah, no, something has to get. You're right. Something. It's not a perfect mode of transport.
No, it might be, and that's the problem, because that means like it's not like practical, no matter what. Then.
Like, yeah, it's not an apocalypse.
Like when I heard bamboo bikes, I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
No,
and then it's like, nah, we need metal to put the bamboo together. I'm like, oh, okay. That's like, you can't just have bamboo that's magically in the right shape and stays melded. You need one shape like this, ching, one here, ching, clamp it in with metal and like solder or whatever. You have to, something needs to keep it together.
And the drivetrain has to be metal too, like the whole system with the chains and the bearings. Yeah,
everything. Yeah,
that has to be metal. However,
the frame, you mean that's what you mean by
however
bamboo.
you could have metal
frame.
You could have metal, you could have bamboo, you could have whatever, you could have all that, but it's not going to work without the rubber. The rubber is really what makes it truly function. I mean, even now, like, you ever heard of tubeless systems? Apparently, like, tubeless tires are like...
I've had rubber tubeless, and, like, okay, once I was walking as a paper boy, and this guy was like, hey, this old guy around the corner was like, hey, you're gonna have this bike. I'm like, just random old guy. I'm like, okay. And I just took it, and it was solid rubber.
No, that's not what
the tires were heavy, but it was just, like, hard to pedal, but these tires were solid fucking hard rubber. And then if it hit something too sharp or hard, it just ripped a chunk out of it. And eventually it was just like just chunky fucking, like as if you like chewed up a hard eraser and just used it as a tire. It was fucking ridiculous. It wasn't soft. It was hard ass chunky fucking rubber. And it was like
I'm talking about modern tubeless. It's like where it's almost like a regular tire on a rim, except they pour like a liquid in it. So instead of a tube, you have like a thin layer all across that only activate it, like it pools at the bottom because of gravity. But then once you pump air into it, it spreads all around like instantly, and then it creates like a sealant. So you don't need a tube. It's just the tire, the rim, and then with some kind of like sealant tape and on the holes.
That sounds awesome. Are they good?
Apparently, it's a game changer. And if it punctures, like the sealant acts as also like a puncture recovery thing. And apparently it shaves off weight on your bike and you don't have to worry about a tube. Like it's a tubeless system.
Are they firm though? Like the pressure?
It's just like, imagine it's supposed to mimic the functioning of a regular tube. Like if you look at bike tires, they say tubeless ready. What that means is if your rim is set up and sealed off correctly on the holes and you put that tire on, then you could put the special valve on to inject a little bit of liquid, and then you pump it.
I want to if I can save enough and get it. I really want it. One of the bikes. I want one of the hubs that like when you pedal it like increases your.
Oh, you want.
I want to be like breezing, like feel like I'm pedaling like nothing and just flying.
Those luckily, like all you need is the hub, and then you could get the wheel laced at any bike store. All you got to do is just be like, not Sturmy Archer, fucking some of these Chinese companies make just the hubs. Dude, e-bikes evolved. Like you could literally turn like a single speed road bike into like an e-bike with just do that hub mechanism.
That's one cool thing I like about like humanity and capitalism. Sometimes it makes people make a lot of crazy shit to sell it, and we get a lot of cool shit. Like video games are cool.
You want to hear something funny? It's like
bikes are cool.
Honestly, capitalism works a lot like evolution, because in evolution, right, biological evolution, you get a lot of dumb shit, right? You get like
split.
No, you get like squirrels with wings or spiders with exploding butts. But every once in a while, like every million or so years, you get opposable thumbs, and it works. You know, it's like capitalism is just like that. We get all this useless fucking shit, but every once in a while, we get something like the automobile.
Well, like if you threw a certain amount of monkeys for a certain amount of time on typewriters, eventually they'd read the Bible.
Well, the original,
like out of randomness.
Well, people actually take this for granted. It's words. Like you got to understand how crazy letters and words and numbers really are. These are fucking symbols with sounds attached to them, and they could be used in combination. They're crazy. And if you really break down what words, numbers are, they're symbols. So what does that tell you? That consciousness is actually geometry. It's all geometry. Even sexuality can be reduced to geometry. You look at a body, you're just looking at shapes, angles, and curves. You're attracted to some like level of geometry. It's all geometry. When you have thoughts and words, those are symbols, those are letters, all geometry.
Geometry class.
Yep, our minds are all just geometry, geometric minds. When you look at like, for example, all right, another crazy thing. You know crop circles? You know what crop circles really reflect? You ever see those videos where they like have a metal sheet, right? And they pour sand on it, and they put a specific sound frequency through it, and creates like a shape like a snowflake almost? Those are called cymatic experiments. Like water. Water specifically does this. Like if you put water on a surface and shoot like a sound frequency through it, it creates certain shapes. Like different frequencies create shapes.
With sand most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Water works especially well. Now, here's another thing. You ever heard of those experiments where they have plants, and when you give a plant like angry metal music versus a plant like you listening to like classical Beethoven, one happens to grow better, right? What that really has to do with is the water. It's the water in the plants, because water takes on different crystalline structures. You know, like that's what it does. Like if you look at like what it does on a layer of metal, that's what it's doing on a molecular level. So when you have the sound going through it, even in plants, it's going to affect the growth of the plant because it's going to affect the way it's structured, its integrity. So what's even more crazy is like think about our human body. You know, like our human body is mostly water. So when we have these sounds, like sound frequencies in light does affect us too. So because light and sound both exist on a frequency and all that shit. So
And light passes through everything.
there you go. And everything is all about time is
light
all about the
passes
speed of
through
light.
us?
No, well, time is all about the speed of light. And if also a lot of you could say matter.
No, there's shadows. So wait, the light doesn't pass through everything, right?
Matter is just frozen light.
So wait, but light state. How come light doesn't pass through things?
No,
then?
what you're wondering is what is light made of? Like what?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Because I'm like,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
if
Yeah,
objects
yeah.
stop it and it casts a shadow,
Yeah. It's interesting shit. Like what the fuck is made?
the fuck is this shit?
What is light
Is
made
it
of?
a fucking material like water, or is it like it's something? Because objects, how come I've lived 35 years and I haven't sat that
Like,
there?
what is light
I
made
haven't-
of?
Maybe I wasn't high enough to just sit there in the park once and just been like, wait, why is the tree stopping
couple
the
hits.
fucking? How is the tree stopping the sun? You know, it's just like, wait, there's no way I'm the first person
It's
to
like
sit
what
there
is
and think
light
that-
made of? Yeah. No, it's a
this
good
is
question.
like a million times, like people think they're geniuses, but there's been like a million people that were stoned or fucked up throughout the time and just sitting there in the field like, wait, is it like water?
It's like particles.
Because it's like it's a thing, and when it's like on that, it's like not there,
Yeah.
and it cannot be there. So it means it's not just air and it's just always there, but then air isn't always there. Air is a thing like water.
Yeah.
What's water?
No.
No, I want to get that big. That's why I need dabs.
No,
if you're gonna get enough
it-
dabs,
no,
you'd be like,
It is no, it is a very fundamental question, especially on a spiritual level. It's like, what is light made out of?
see, people think that kind of stoner is stupid. They like, that guy's fucking dumb stoned. It's like, no, that guy's thinking of shit you like. That it's true. This is a wild thing, and we just take it for granted all the time. But you get people think that you get stoned, you're stupid. No, you're actually thinking about like something that it's really like.
Yeah, it's
Wait,
mind blowing.
Dad, you don't actually know this. We just like, oh fuck it, I gotta go to work. But now you're out of that mind of like, fuck it, I gotta go to work, and you're like, but wait a second.
What is this?
What the fuck is it though? We're all just like, yeah, fuck it, we gotta pay bills, you know. And, but like, you're like, wait a second.
That's a little weird.
Yeah, it's a little like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah. What is light made out of?
What the fuck is it like? But it gets stopped very easily. But then some things just go through. But that means those things have holes, like paper towel and shit.
I think it has to do with density. I really do think like matter like this is just really dense light. Because if you look at like everything made
You're
of
right. That's why everything is condensed light. Everything's electrons.
Exactly.
Or, yeah, photons.
So when we think of like our bodies and
So it's getting stopped by hard light.
yes, and it's affected by sound. So when light hardens into matter, that apparently gets really fucked with by sound. And another factor in all of this, something.
Yeah, but light is also heat. What the fuck is that too? How is it also a physical thing?
No, heat-
How is it a temperature
heat
and a sight at the same
heat,
time?
Heat is movement.
But it's not a smell.
No, heat is movement. Heat is movement. Heat is the movement of molecules moving super fast, and that generates heat, which is also very fundamental.
So that means fast and slow, light and dark,
Also, no.
and heat
Yo,
and
okay.
cold are the same exact thing.
No, here's another cool thing, right? Look at fire, right? Did you know that like when fire gets hotter and colder, it changes color? So
Yeah.
the hottest fire is blue, and like the coldest fire, well, like the more milder fires is like the more reddish shade.
Yeah, but how come our brains think blue cold? Red
Here's
hot.
another interesting thing.
Red
Did you know
hot.
that-
and
did
icy
you know-
blue.
Did you know that the human eye can only perceive about like a fraction of the actual color spectrum? So we're only seeing.
I'm getting a cigarette. 1 second.
We're only seeing like a fraction of most of what reality is. If we know that reality is like condensed light or light of various density, our eyes can only see a specific spectrum. We can only see a piece of that spectrum of light. Isn't that another interesting thing?
Yeah, that's why I don't like, when the cat's looking around and shit and like, get the fuck out of my room. Because I don't want to see that other dimensional shit you're looking at, and I don't want to know it's there behind
Okay,
me,
cats.
putting its balls on my head.
Cats are very interesting. Cats apparently can see. Humans could only see specific frames per second. Cats could apparently see more frames per second. So maybe between the things that we can't see, like in between the frames that only the human eye could perceive, cats could see a few extra things hiding in there. Could be spirits. Could be something. You know,
It's fucking horrifying.
like you ever see?
This for the rest of my life that like yeah, this fucking ghost exists and they talk to me and this can happen anytime and I have no control over this. And that's horrifying.
All right, so I'm saying like cats, right? Cats could see the extra frames in between the frames that the human eye cannot see, which is very interesting. You
I
know.
need therapy.
Also, here's another thing about cats, right? Apparently, you know about Atlantis and the idea that we had a super advanced civilization on this earth that just got wiped out by a flood or whatever because of they were doing. This is also biblical too. You know, they talk about like, the great flood that wiped everything out and Noah had to save everything and all that shit. Well, there's a reason, and also the flood is confirmed by geography. Apparently, the flood actually happened. You know, like there was a flood in this earth that was like that's literally scarred the Mother Earth skin, you know? So all this being said, why, like, what was the tipping point? Like, why did this advanced Nephilim civilization or whatever, like, or maybe their descendants, or like, what did they do that was made them worthy of this flood? And they said it was when they started fucking around with DNA, when they started using sound manipulation, light manipulation, to be able to literally change the DNA of beings and to be able to create like splicing DNA together to create these weird animal beings, like humans with animal heads, or like, you know, like whatever, animals with different things. And what cats could be a remnant of that experimentation. Think about it. Like cats have lizard eyes, right? Cats have lizard eyes and they have all these weird properties. They're like little dragons and they're slinky like snakes, you know, like they're almost reptilian, you know.
Dude, they just have this entitled aura about them.
Yeah.
Too. They just have this it's like
They're mystical.
they're very they're very assertive with the way they're just way of being is almost like pompous, almost like they are pride. That's why like the prideful. It's like, dude, they have this sense of like, yeah, I fucking know I'm hot.
They're mystical creatures. And there's another fable. There's a fable that said that they were house cats started showing up when dragons started dying out. Like dragons were real mythical creatures and they hid their souls into cats. So like, you know, that's why they
humans
have
have always been obsessed with cats since we could record time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe in ancient times, cats were a creation of a super advanced civilization because they have a lot of uses. They kill parasite, like they kill pests. They kill, you know, like shit that would fuck up your garden and your farm. Cats are very useful. They're killers. They're like little ninjas. And they could see shit. They could see spirits. So maybe they also ward off evil spirits. Like cats could literally be like a creation of Atlantis or Lemuria or something, you know, like, and they're just remnants of like what we were just started fucking around with.
Your big doofy, your doofy orange cat that doesn't know how to not bonk his head into the wall is also a mystical being from Atlantis.
No. It's not just like the fact that they were killers but
he can't not puke up his kibbles.
No, you can't deny the mystical element of cats. Like, you ever just have like been stressed out and when the cat's like sitting next to you purring, you just feel better?
Okay, Attic, when I broke my pelvic bone, there was a new kitten kind of like just growing up in the house, and I would lay there and the cat would never come near me before this. When I was laying there and the broken pelvic bone, it would come near me and just lay right on top of the bone and just lay there and purr. And I swear to God, the doctor was like, it would take you this much to be able to walk again. It took me like a month or two.
Cats have healing properties.
It wasn't. It was vibrating, like the frequency of it, and that it does. They do that to restore their bone density, to keep their bones strong.
This? Here's another thing. Did you know that there's like new teeth cleaning treatments where all they got to do is just like, they don't have to do chemicals. All they do is just use vibrations. They have like a metal pick that vibrates at specific frequencies, at the same frequency that like plaque would break up in, without like using any chemical abrasiveness, and it just breaks it apart. And how about this? What if you did that with cancer? What if that's a way of using sound to cure cancer? Vibrations.
We could probably use sound to do most things. Probably what miracle healings really are.
Maybe that is how we built the pyramids.
Well, yeah, they think they are floating. Yeah, we can levitate things with vibrations, so we
Yes.
know that's a possibility. So
Maybe that's how you cure everything. Maybe that's how you cure like psychosis. Maybe that's how you cure psychopathy. Through sound. Maybe that's how you cure cancer, cure loneliness. Sounds. And maybe it also has to do, I mean, we tried light because we know light definitely works. And if we abuse, I think light can be abused. Like when you do chemotherapy, you're like shooting light through your fucking body.
well, like they can touch different parts of your brain. Just touch them and make you feel sad or happy. Like different parts. Yeah, really, it's a chemical. That's why people like, when people are on drugs. Everyone's on drugs. Everyone's on different drugs too, because some people's brains produce different chemicals. When you say this is easy for me, this is hard for them, there really is a difference because your brain, your body is functioning on different chemicals floating through your brain.
Yeah, but I think chemicals are up here, but the sound and light are like lower, like more fundamental. For example, like, yes, we do have chemicals, but
we have sound, we have light therapy and sound therapy.
But physically, like, what's your body made of? Like mostly water. And that being said, what is
empty space?
But also water, like on a more denser level.
Yeah.
So what does sound do to water? You create these crazy fucking shapes. All you got to do is just drop some water onto a metal surface, put a sound through it, and you see different shapes. That alone is not just trippy. That's fucking crazy. And what does that tell you? And some shapes are literally more structurally sound than others. It creates a story. It creates a map. Now think about all the music we're forced to listen to all day, every day, whether it's in a store, whether it's in our headphones, whether it's in a car, whether it's on a plane. Like, think about it. This shit matters to us. Like, now we know sound fundamentally affects our structure.
Yeah, that's why metalheads are very intelligent, logical people, because music is very kind of intelligent and logical. Whether people think it's dark or not, it is still it's very neat.
How about this? Did you
Metal is neat. Punk rock is messy, and punk rock people are very messy people. If you haven't fucking noticed.
Now, let me tell you something. Did you know that the earliest known written music, like in Western society, is religious? Like psalms and all that shit.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, like the earliest known Western music is religious. It's church music. Those are the guys that.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's what I thought you meant the most popular.
No. Like the earliest known, like written, like historic.
Oh yeah. Also, I think
At first it was
Gregorian chants.
It was Gregorian chant. It was monotone, like and it was one guy just doing that voice, and then they added other voices that harmonized with the notes.
That must have been mind blowing the first time.
Yeah. It was.
Holy shit!
Yeah, as you were going,
if we did it just now, knowing it's a thing, we would still be like, "Whoa, that sounded cool."
But what happened was that created the room for chords, and once chords were created, then the West just went crazy. Like then you had like all the classical composers coming out. Because imagine going from like the Dark Ages to like that. You go from like, oh shit, we could combine these.
It must have been so fucking crazy being at a fucking being at like
it was a religious experience.
Yeah, like being at a fucking like Mozart or fucking Beethoven thing, like just like, and you don't really hear this all day. And maybe you'll hear a musician on the street every once in a while, but like you go to an orchestra, that has to be the craziest fucking shit that ever, that's wild. Probably there's people sitting outside just to hear.
Honestly, if I went to an orchestra, I would take some Molly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we got to do that.
Yeah, let's go. The Philharmonic Orchestra and just take some fucking tabs and be like,
oh, I got 3 months tomorrow.
Yeah, let's just take some Molly and just go take some caps. I'm not tabs. Let's take some caps of Molly and just go listen to an orchestra. And
it has to be pure tested. Like lab, MDMA. No drugs.
It would be a good time, though. I think so. It would be a religious experience.
I just want to go see one, actually. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to see the Zelda one.
There's a lot of good gaming ones like Final Fantasy. Their orchestra is pretty baller.
Oh, they do Sephiroth.
Yeah. They do all sorts of shit.
Tripping while Sephiroth starts playing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff. And like honestly, it's true. Like it is godly. It is divine. And like a lot of I don't understand how you could stay being a musician and be an atheist. Like, yeah, you can do it, but it's not gonna be that good. You need to tap into spirit. You need to tap into your soul. Could you imagine like it'll be like brutalist music, you know, like commie shit, like nationalism or political or something. Or just pure like animal instincts, which is could be good actually, you know, like, but still, music is divine in its nature. Music is of God. Sound is of God. So is light, which is why like you know all these like you know when you think of like these movie gods and these fucking like music gods, they're not filmmakers. They're not just music producers. They're sorcerers. These are people controlling reality on a mass scale.
I want to see Sprongel live. If I've been to a festival, there's things I don't want to do. And I'm like, with this job, I don't know when I'll have time to do anything recreationally ever again but play my video game at night.
You should also get into physical exercise, like riding your bike or something, or martial arts.
It's hard, man. I'm so physical all day. I lost, it's bad. I lost like 15 pounds recently. Like, it's not good.
You know what you should do? You should invest a lot of money in extra food, like steaks and like ground beef and like.
I can only eat so much, and I move around too much. That's the problem. I have a fast metabolism.
Ice cream,
which I do got to get home soonish.
Yeah, I got you. You got it. We got to get you ice cream.
I'm gonna take that advice. I'm gonna eat a lot of. I just take insulin.
But just be careful because you're a diabetic, so it might fucking kill you.
That's what I'm saying. You take a lot of insulin with the ice cream.
You're gonna need a lot more insulin.
I have to my insulin with every ice cream.
Yeah. All right, we'll wrap this episode up. But yo, it was good having you, Brendan.
If anyone has any weight gain tips, please send them our way. I need to help. I have a very physical job.